We are live. We are in there. How are y'all feeling today? Happy Wednesday. It's Vertex Wednesday today. Episode 27. 27 down. A million to go. Today, we have an amazing guest. Her name is Hannah Eddy. And oh my goodness, she's an adventurer if I've ever seen one. Um, for one, just as a profession, she's an artist and a muralist designer. She also is a very big snowboarder and a very big skateboarder. And she's done so since she was a little girl. I think she was about 5 years old when she started picking those up. She's been able to fuse these two lifestyles of kind of being able to explore the world and be very active and just do like the cool thing of snowboarding and skateboarding, as well as being able to travel, and explore nature and put it all into her artwork, and make it all make sense for the viewer and for the customer, for the client, you know. And it's really inspiring because artists normally or stereotypically are not people who are like super adventurous and active. I know that there is a big community of like there is a stereotype for the artist that is like, we're just gonna stay in our studios, we're just gonna stay in our lofts and in our rooms all cooped up and be a hermit and just paint all day, and we're not going anywhere else unless it's time to eat or whatever. But she kind of takes that and turns it on its head, man. Like it's like, nah, we're out here. And I think people that watch this show are pretty understanding of that as well, just already. But you know, think that that piece of information is more for the people who, you know, don't really see the nuance just yet. Or, this might be their first episode that they're watching. And so, it's one of those things. It's just an eye opener for people, or maybe even somebody who is at that crossroad as well. And they're like, man, I'm, trying to do this thing, but also that thing, and I don't really know how to fuse the two together. And so, this episode is for you. All right. Our guest says she's ready, so let's go and do it. Hope y'all enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the show. How are you
Thank you
feeling
for
today?
having me. I'm good. It's this cozy, stormy day here in Reno.
Do y'all get a lot of rain normally out there?
I mean, like this time of year, it'll start to rain and snow up in the mountains, but it's high desert, so it's dry.
Okay. I'm a
How are
little
you doing?
like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice.
Had been painting today, so we like it's supposed to be colder, but I guess today was one of them like summer's last little claws or something, and it was hot, man. The sun got to me.
That'll happen. That'll happen. Were
hmm
you outside working on a mural?
Yeah, so I was helping. I'm not sure if you ever met Jalil when you were here.
I don't.
Oskiati. He's like a
Not
skater.
sure.
Um, but yeah, he's got a whole brand, and it's like he makes a bunch of like, I mean, really just gear, just clothes in general, but it's really like made for skaters and like skate culture and stuff like that. He's a big skater
Sick.
himself. So yeah, he's
Awesome.
got some cool stuff. I gotta send you some of his work after. But
Yeah, please do.
yeah, we were painting like some big bleachers in a certain part of the city, and
Cool.
yeah, it was a little trippy because it's like on the stairs, like you're having to kind of paint
Oh,
in the yeah.
that's tricky. And you're like on the ground, kind of like working on it.
It's like this it was this tall fence right in front of the bleachers, and so to have to kind of look back, you have to jump this fence to, because the opening of the fence is like way on the other side. I'm like, you're better off just jumping it. But the fence was tall. You know, a lot of fences be like kind of at your stomach level or something. You can kind of
Yeah,
jump up. No, this fence was taller than
just
us. So
full.
we were like just jumping over this fence. Like you do a little line, jump the fence, go back. Okay, jump the fence. It was like full
See,
workout
this is
today.
what people don't know what goes into it half the time. You're like climbing on things, crawling under things. You can't see anything. Yeah, I love it. That's one of my favorite parts about murals though, is that like everyone is different and you're kind of problem solving and getting kind of weird, so it's fun.
Yeah, you never really know what the mural takes. You know, as a viewer
Yeah.
especially, you'll never know what the artist went through to really pay like to put that up. Cause
Yeah.
I mean, them some of these places are like there there was one mural I was helping a friend do where in order to project it, we had to put the projector on these train tracks. Like that was just the perfect angle to really get it. But we had to keep watch of the trains that were coming through. There was still
Dude.
trains coming through. So like we might just be at the
No.
wall and if we hear anything, we're just
Straight
hauling
down.
right down
Yeah.
and we're going to try to grab the projector so don't get ran over. And it was just
Oh
like
my
just
god.
never
That's classic. Straight on the tracks. Yeah,
yeah.
that's why, I mean, it's good to not have to use a projector because sometimes you show up and you're like, it's not going to work at all.
hmm Do you know who made the doodle grid?
No, I don't know the
No.
origin story.
I don't know either, but I feel like they deserve a piece of
They
everybody's
just
mural check because
think,
the way
think
they've come in clutch, it's
Dude,
crazy.
I remember like when I first started, I was doing the full like measure squares and like make it
Woo.
all perfect. Like, and it took so long, and I was like, how are people doing this huge? It was only on some small stuff, but
Mhm.
once I learned the doodle grid, it was like
It's
game
rocks.
changer.
Because then
Yeah.
you can use anything for a doodle grid. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen a couple homies do like hieroglyphs for it. They've like written
totally.
prayers. They'll like write names of important
Yeah,
people, letters. They'll like write out just letters to people,
yeah,
whoever. And I'm like, dang, man. Like, you can
yeah,
really customize it however you want to.
totally. And then
Mm.
you really freak people out because sometimes they think that's the finished mural, and they're like, this is terrible.
Yep.
You're like, just give me a second. You still
Yep.
might not like it, but it's gonna be different.
It's gonna be better than this, I promise you. Like this is not the style. And then you got them people that come up and see it and be like, "It looks great." Are you
Yeah,
lying? You know you lying. Talk about it looks great.
I love that color.
Yeah, all right, that's cool, I guess. I'm like, but yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
the many different techniques of us muralists, man. We're some of the most this is where I draw the line here is like we're some of the most resourceful people because
Yeah,
like man we just know how to like make something anything work using
totally.
whatever materials we got.
Yeah,
So funny
yeah.
how those skills translate across.
And it's cool that like we all, I mean, obviously there's like some not sharing of information, but I feel like something like a doodle grid, and for people who are listening who don't know, it's like you're sketching just little shapes and stuff on the wall, and then you overlay your design on top of that, and it's just like you can see the eye goes from that little star to this triangle, and you can just sketch it out in that way without having to measure out a grid or use a projector. But it's just cool that like people were down to pass that information along, and you kind of learn it. I mean, nowadays you could learn anything on YouTube, which is cool, but for a while it was just like word of mouth. You go paint with people and learn that stuff, which I love. Like picking people's brains like on site is the best.
Like mural festivals and stuff because
Yeah,
you might be like it might be your second mural or something and you made it into this mural festival, and you're sitting right next to somebody who's been at it for like 15 years, and they've got all the tips
Totally.
and all the tricks, and it's just like,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm gonna be
I
bugging you.
know. I know. Yeah, one of my first mural festivals I went to, Hyro was painting, and I was
Mm.
just like, oh my word. Like that is next level. He's so good. And he was so nice and like showed me some tips with the can, and yeah, he was super supportive and encouraging, which is so rad. But yeah, it's cool when you go to your first couple mural festivals and you see that level of talent and just like dedication to murals and street art and graffiti, and you're just it's you got to respect it.
Definitely levels to this. I
Yeah.
remember he came to Atlanta one year for Outer Space Project, and he just
Yeah.
won. Like he won. Like he had like one of the biggest walls, and it was like the craziest design, and he
Yeah.
likes to use all the fluorescent colors and stuff. So it was just like just glowing off the corner, and I'm like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
what you be going what you got going on in there, man?
Yeah, same with also Squid Liquor. They were painting. I painted a mural festival in Santa Cruz, and just watching Squid Liquor just on like hanging on the side of the lift, just so in the zone, painting so fast and just executing like it was mind blowing. Watching it go down live was just like holy cow. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's so fun to see.
Some beast for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, we could say the same about you as well. I remember whenever we met you at Plaza Walls, and then you had
Yeah.
that spot on the corner, and like, I mean, your design held that corner down. And I
That
remember,
was a fun one.
like me and Mike were just like, dang, look at what she got going on over there, and like designs were just amazing, amazing. So
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yours
definitely,
was sick too. That
yeah.
was fun. That's a fun one. Plaza Walls is great.
Shout out to them. They had I think they just had 10 years about
I
a month
know.
ago.
So sick. Love that.
Hmm
Did we go in when did we go? 22? 23?
2023, I'm pretty sure. No, 22.
Or
It was
was
22.
it 22? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Time is crazy. I don't
It's,
even know. Yeah.
yeah, it's been 3 years. Wow. Hmm. But
That was fun. We laughed a lot.
yeah, got to explore
Yeah.
Oklahoma. I didn't even know it was like so much of an art scene out there. Like I thought Plaza Walls was
Yeah.
like the only thing artsy going on. Like they were kind of making their way into Oklahoma,
Totally.
but like no, they got a whole bunch of stuff out there.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta too. You guys have a great thing going.
Yeah, it's a ton of us. We got all these different like little like sectors of art communities, but it's cool that um they're kind of up under people who have started like an ecosystem for themselves.
Yeah.
Like you've got I think a lot of people see like Greg Mike and like the
Yep.
ABV scene, and that's like its own ecosystem. And then you've got like like Maya Bailey and like City of Ink and like Peter Street, that sector, and then you
Mhm.
got like Dosa and High Contrast, and but then we all are just kind of together in it. I think that's like
Yeah.
the most fun part.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, going out there last year for outer space, just seeing like what Greg and ABV, that whole crew has done to bring so many people together. It's amazing.
I think they're doing outer space again this month. I think they
Nice.
switched it to, I think it was November when you came through too, just to kind of
Yeah,
dodge
it
the
was
heat a little bit.
freezing. It was
Mm-hmm.
so cold and rained, but Blue and I were so dialed underneath that overpass. We were in the like parking area so we could paint the whole
Mm-hmm.
time, and everyone else was like,
You're
luckies.
lucky.
But it was cold. I
Yeah.
mean, I just expected it not to be that cold. But I am coming from cold land, so I can't complain.
Mm. It's so cool to see that you've been to like so many different places too. And it like amazing sometimes when you can look and be like, yo, art brought me here. all
I
of the
know.
different spots you've been to.
I know it's crazy. It's like I never thought that art would even bring me anywhere besides the studio or whatever, like you don't really picture that, but it's so cool.
Hmm. And I mean, just from learning about who you are and the type of work that you do, I could tell you have a lot of like you have a big adventurous spirit, like you want to get out there and see the world and just explore. And I really want to know where or when did that adventurous spirit, like how did it come to be? Who kind
Yeah,
of lit that
totally.
fire in you?
Well, I grew up in Maine and I was just like in the woods always, on the ocean. Started skateboarding and snowboarding at a super young age. Playing soccer, I just liked to be in the woods, getting dirty and like exploring, and that kind of sparked just the need for more. Like I wanted to jump off stuff, I wanted to go fast, and like that's when I started getting into skating and snowboarding. And um, I just like to feel really connected with nature, but also just like ripping around, like going fast, hooting and hollering with your friends. Like that always got me so hyped. Um, so yeah, I just feel really lucky that I grew up around a bunch of kids that were like-minded, and we all just started getting into all that stuff together. But I had been like drawing and painting as long as I can remember, and it was just this seamless love of, oh, these super sick graphics are on the bottom of the skateboards and snowboards. So art and riding boards and that whole counterculture community, DIY kind of like punk aesthetic just was so seamlessly involved in my life. I don't even really remember like pinpointing there's that one thing that happened, like it just, I mean, I got my first skateboard when I was 5. My grandma got it for me. She let me like pick out whatever I wanted at the toy store. And it was just like a crappy whatever skateboard, but it had this sick eagle on the bottom. And I was like, I need that. I don't know how to ride it, but I'll figure it out. And, sure enough, that led into a whole life of doing the same thing.
Hmm. Hmm. And do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister,
Mm.
and she wasn't as into that stuff. Like she snowboarded with me and like got pretty into that, but yeah, she always thought I was crazy, still does, but we're super close, but very
Mm.
different in like all the best ways. I was just the classic like younger child, just making jokes and scaring her and like doing stuff. She was just always like, Hannah, what are you getting into?
Interesting. I'm I guess I'm curious to know like because as a kid, like we're gonna have like natural inclinations towards certain things. Um
Yeah.
but I think that those things can kind of like they can continue or like not continue based on like the people around them or like people who support them or invest into the kids and what they want to do. And it
Yeah.
sounds like with you said your grandma bought you your first skateboard,
Yeah.
and I'm curious to know like, is it like was she or you said that you picked out your own thing,
Yeah, but
and
everybody was like really supportive. I think like I see what you're saying, and yeah, like I could have just been into it and then like gotten over it or been like girls don't do that because there weren't that many girls doing that back then. But like my mom and my dad started snowboarding too, so he really got it and nurtured that adventurous side of me for sure. Like he was super encouraging of that. And my mom thought I was crazy also, but like was down for me to just be weird. And I think because it was so obvious how into the stuff that I was that they were either like, they're like, we gotta embrace it or I don't know what, because she's just going down this path. And yeah, I feel really lucky that they were supportive of it for sure. Because it was not a normal thing for a little girl in the like mid mid to late 90s to be doing that stuff, especially in Maine. Like there were no other girls doing that stuff, but I didn't really care. I just thought it was so fun.
Yeah. I mean, it is a fun thing to do, and, like,
Yeah,
shoot, I don't think it should be I don't think that it should be, like, allowed only to one gender, you know?
for
Um,
sure.
but I think, it sounds like your parents were really cool. Are there any, like, values or any teachings that you got from your parents or from your family that kind of helped you out on this journey? I know that skateboarding and snowboarding can kind of be, I mean, for one, it's an obvious just physical challenge. But then like you don't start off good at it and you're having to like keep, falling down or messing up here, like um and it's a climb, it's a journey. And I was just curious about any values that maybe your parents taught you early on that can kind of ring in your head. I can think of a couple of things that, like, my parents taught me that I still hold close during times of, like, you know, struggle and frustration. And I'm curious to know what echoes in your head in those times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're so right. The lessons you can learn from the actual activities are endless. But yeah, my parents were definitely very vocal about just being true to who I am and like following the things that make me happy and get me out of bed in the morning because um, it's not easy being a human on the planet, and they recognize that, and like we were super open and always like really communicative as a family. Um, so yeah, like just being follow the things that make you happy was really their whole ethos, and they totally stood behind that. And like if I had something I wanted to do, they were the ones that got up early, drove me to the mountain, like they were just like follow the things that make you happy and see where that leads you, because success to them, they definitely were like success is you being happy, basically. And I definitely wholeheartedly believe that now, and that's what I still aim for.
What they feel about, like, in a career sense and like money and things like that, where they, I can think of some kids that are like, maybe they had dreams of doing that and then their parents were like, man, that's not gonna make you no money, like go on, do something, find something safe to do.
Yeah.
Did they ever push that kind of feel on you?
Well, my dad was a like sailboat builder and racer, so he like was already in this kind of creative, like you make it what you make it kind of a career anyway. So, um, yeah, and we were like, I feel really lucky with how we were brought up and like the privilege that we had as a family. Like we could afford to go snowboarding, and um, I recognized that on as an early at an early age because I saw like a lot of kids in my class or whatever that wanted to do this stuff but couldn't do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, money was like they wanted me to go to college. That was like kind of the more mainstream thing that they were like that I was kind of like, oh, I just want to move to the mountains and like snowboard or whatever. But they definitely understood, or at least back then, like it was kind of just what you did. Um, so that was like a thing that maybe we butted heads a little bit on, but I'm glad that I did it, and I studied art in school, and that was great. But yeah, we've just been winging it. And my parents have been winging it too, like seeing that we moved in a bunch of different houses, and it was never like this super steady, like your job defines you or anything like that. So
I have two different directions that I'm asking that I
yeah.
want to ask for. So, like, for one, um I remember the detail about you saying that that you and your family were very communicative um growing up, which is like amazing to hear. Because my family, we still struggle with communication now. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how that shaped you, with that level of communication coming up, as well as the art school feel, because my parents wanted me to go to art school, and I did. And then, like, after about a year, I was like, man, I'm kind of over this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like,
Yeah.
my professors are doing a bunch. I don't, this ain't for me. And they wanted me to finish. So I ended up finishing. It took me a couple more years,
Yeah.
and it just was not, it was horrible. Like, it was horrible. And I think it started a lot of just friction between me and my parents, because, like, they were thinking that it was good for me, or, like, you gonna thank us for having you do that, whatever. And I was like, nah, this isn't like a medical degree where I could go and get, like, you could do the same things with the degree than without, other than, like, be a professor,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I'm curious to know, like, your different, feel, because you're saying that, like, you're glad that you went. And there's I'm glad that I went, but not because I got the paper, but because I met people there that I wouldn't have known otherwise. I'm just curious to know, like,
That's
what you felt
that's
about it.
100% why I'm glad I went to.
Okay.
Because I had a similar feeling in art school, and I went to just like a university, and then I majored in art, which I'm
Mhm.
kind of glad I did, because then my whole life wasn't just people who were in the same field. Um, but I studied oil painting, and I had a similar like illustrative graphic style that I have now. And my teachers were like, no, they were
Mhm.
not. They're like, this is not how you oil paint. And I was like trying to put phrases in and like have characters and stuff. And they were just like, kind of giving me too many rules, and that was like kind of the first time that I had heard so many rules with painting. I understand rules with like how to use Adobe Illustrator or something, but like for the actual painting was kind of crazy, and it definitely tripped me out and made me not want to be in there either, because that just didn't make sense to me. But I'm glad I went for like the other classes I took and the people I met, and I did like tons of snowboarding, and um, the art kind of like brought me through any hard times. I still got to paint, which I'm glad I didn't like go into graphic design or illustration, because I just painted like big canvases for school, and I was like, this, at least this part is fun, whether or not the teachers like my paintings at the end of the day. I still get to have the act of painting in my life, and it built a practice around painting that has stuck to this day. So I'm glad for those things, and like all the technical things of like color theory and how to mix colors, and learning all that with oil was like a really great place to start. um or I mean, I guess did like AP art in high school and all that stuff too, so I'd already been painting a bunch. Um but yeah, like the paper hasn't helped me, like having a diploma, a degree, it like hasn't helped me in my career. And there's a lot of things that I would say would be priority to teach at art school that I did not learn and don't know anyone who learned at school. So yeah, it's an interesting path, and I don't know what I would tell younger people these days to do school wise, because you definitely don't need it. But if your parents are like, you gotta go, sometimes you gotta go.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's something I still kind of, like, wrestle with in my head, of, like,
Yeah.
should I have gone? Should I be mad or whatever? And I just
What'd
kind of
you
let it be.
study?
I changed my major like 3 times. I started in
Yeah.
animation, and then I went to game development,
Hmm.
and I tried to take that coding class, and code was like, nah, it didn't happen.
Not for
So
you. Yeah.
yeah, then I went to sequential art,
What's
and
that?
it's like comics. stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, like I could try to make comics. But then I ended up transferring schools. So I started at SCAD and then
Yep.
I went to Kennesaw State after. And so
Okay.
when I went to Kennesaw State, they didn't have a sequential art major. So I had to just be drawing and painting. That was my major.
Gotcha.
And so I just finished out with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like the animation is probably like that's where my head was going to, because I was like, well, maybe I'll go into like design engineering and then I could like design skate shoes or snowboards or whatever. Um, but then that's too much math. And I was like, that, I don't want to do that. But yeah, the animation would be interesting because there's so much to learn that like that sounds like what you go to school for. But I'm sure the
Yeah.
classes were just like not inspiring, maybe.
I wouldn't say that. I think that it just wasn't a good fit for me. I think that like
Yeah,
I was more so on the design for animation path. Like I could make something somebody else could animate, but to actually sit there and draw
right.
the frames over and over and over, I was like, man, I don't got. I'm not built like this. I don't have it,
I know.
and so is what it is. But did you
And now what? You could
uh,
just push a button and make your drawing move now, so it's all good.
yep, yep. Did your did your professors did your professors ever say you were cheating? Like,
For
like
sure.
I was
Yeah.
like, just for like because of the way you did something. Like it's not
Yeah,
even
like
like
if I
uh,
yeah, yeah.
go for it.
I was gonna say like if I outlined something. They're like, you can't outline an oil painting. I'm like, I just
Why
did. I don't know what to
not?
tell you.
I'm like, why? Like, why? Why not? You know,
Yeah.
I remember one of my teachers wanted me to use what was it? One of my teachers wanted me to use chalk, but I really wanted to use paint.
Okay.
And they were like, you gotta use chalk. And I'm like, I'm not trying to use chalk. I'm gonna have all kind of stuff on my hands. It's gonna be
Yeah.
flour everywhere. Like I'm not trying. It's gonna look like a bakery in here. And like I was in there, I'm like, eh. And so what I ended up doing, crushed up the chalk, mixed it with water, and I painted with the
Hey.
with the chalk like paste, like paint. And they talk about it's cheating because I painted with a brush. And I'm like, no, it's chalk. You wanted me to use chalk, I used chalk. Like you should be happy that
That
I
you use
even
chalk.
yeah, like this is creativity. Like this is what these classes should be promoting, you know? And they're like, nah, we don't like that. But all my classmates loved it. They were like, yo, that's fire.
Yeah,
Like that's
sick.
such a cool idea. And the professor over there mad pouting. And I'm like, why are you why are you pouting?
Classic. Hey, it's good lessons for life because that's what half the stuff is, where you're like, how, what, this is against the rules? I didn't know there were rules for this.
It shouldn't be no rules like that. Like, I feel like
No.
with art classes, there should be like there should be something where you kind of just do this by any means necessary. As long as you're not stealing
Right,
art
right.
from people, like as long as you're not like this painting is mine and it's not, or like as long as you're not like hurting people in the process, I think anything should be up for grabs, you know, but
Yeah, I'm with
I
you.
don't know
I'm with you.
why people be like
It's
that.
not like that. It's not like that. Yeah. I don't
So
know.
because you were at a university, um, if you were able to like if you had to go back, not now, but like if you were to go back in time to when you first got to school, um, and you knew what you knew now, is would you have changed your major? Like would you have like gone into a different field? Like what do you think? You mentioned like I'm not sure what I would tell people about going to school
Yeah.
now. And if your parents are making you go to school, then it's like, okay, maybe you can save the art practice for yourself while you use school time to build something that like most artists don't get. Is there
Right.
anything
No,
else
I,
you would
yeah.
say?
I mean, I definitely had teachers telling, painting teachers telling me I should have been an illustration major,
Hmm.
but I don't know if that would have really helped. And then I tried to take one um, graphic design class, but we're talking, this was a while ago, and the programs were not good. And I literally, like, first day of class, I'm like, using the mouse. And I remember they were like, okay, just draw a circle. And I could, for the life of me, could not figure. And they were like, oh, just like figure out the program. Like, this is how you're going to figure it out. Just try to draw a circle. And your girl could not figure out how to draw a circle on this thing. So I wouldn't go back and do that then, but then maybe like once Illustrator and Photoshop got better, like in the 8 years after that or whatever, that would have been helpful because I had to learn all that on my own. But yeah, back then I wouldn't really change too much of what I ended up doing because I kind of got into a groove where I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take other classes that are interesting. Like I took a science and mysticism class that ended up being like the coolest thing ever. And we had to read like a bunch of books from philosophers and like Einstein and how quantum mechanics and Eastern mysticism are like at their root super similar. So there were a lot of like early philosophical times then of me like figuring out my place in the world and like more time to figure that out, which has in turn helped my art and my art practice. So just the whole experience of like being open to the other things that maybe you wouldn't normally or you wouldn't like think to even do or learn about. That's a really cool thing about school.
Yeah. Keep thinking about like psychology. Like if you were to
Yeah,
learn psychology, I wonder how those two things would kind of coincide. I wonder if people would, like, especially as a gallery artist or something, like
right,
how they would make use of psychological understanding to like
for
make
sure.
paintings that connect with
Yeah,
people in a specialized way of like, okay, well, this is the
absolutely.
group, maybe we can use these types of colors or these types of shapes to
Yeah.
bring out these emotions or whatever.
And like
uh
art therapy stuff is so cool. Like there's so much beyond just like the act of creating a painting. Um, but yeah, or like business. I mean, you're probably best
oh
off
yeah.
learning business. Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's like an immediate like skill improvement right there.
yeah,
Just knowing the
yeah.
basics, or like a
Hmm.
finances kind of. I don't know exactly what they would like. I don't know the curriculum of like a finance program, but
Yeah, I don't either.
like I don't know if they're just like teaching you to save in there or like are they teaching you how to
They're teaching
like.
you like the history of money. I don't know. There's probably something where you like think you're gonna learn how to invest or something, but really, I don't know.
Mhm,
It's a lot of old world teaching.
mhm. Hmm.
I don't know.
And what was your like? I guess childhood, but not super early childhood, but like between you getting your first skateboard, snowboard, and then college, um, what was your relationship with your art during that time?
Yeah, I was always drawing and painting throughout all of it. And like, I've like competed and stuff with snowboarding and was on like the local snowboard shop team. And instead of giving them clips of me snowboarding, I would come in with like t-shirt design ideas. So there
Mm,
was this early on thing of where my subconsciously was just like, I like the art side of snowboarding, maybe even more than like the part where I want to go and get filmed doing tricks or like compete in X Games or whatever.
mm,
Um, so once I started kind of waking up to that and being like, oh yeah, like I could have a job within snowboarding that I don't have to be a pro snowboarder, but I could be doing it all the time. And then someone is making these graphics for the snowboards. Like once I learned that, I definitely started working with like the brands that I was like sponsored by, kind of like learning how graphics were made and like I got to sit in some meetings where like we're picking like colors that we like for next year's line or whatever. And I started getting like into the industry a little bit more, which just like then snowballed and is why I went to school in Colorado, because they had a snowboard team. And then the people I met on the snowboard team all worked at this snowboard camp in the summer, and I started working there too. And then all the brands and all the pros go there every summer. So you just start to like get super ingrained in the community and the industry. So that's really like what naturally happened from me just being obsessed with snowboarding. Like where I grew up in Maine was pretty popular, like more so than skating. Like we didn't have very good skate parks and stuff, but we liked to skate in the summer. But snowboarding really took over my life. It was like all I really cared about. So that's kind of like the through line was snowboarding and art. Brought me to Colorado, met all these people, worked at this snowboard camp, and then like that's when the door opened to like all the brands. And so I started doing like little t-shirt designs for some outerwear companies, and like maybe a binding art or like a backpack for this one brand. Like it started feeling like it was working to make these projects happen. And then yeah, it just kept rolling from there.
And whenever you were seeing the brand starting to reach out, well, for one, you said
Yeah.
that you were looking at the brands that you were sponsored by. You were sound like you were sponsored like pretty early. Like, were you a
Yeah, yeah.
And then you also mentioned a snowboarding team. So like, were you? I'm
Yeah.
like, because I thought you were doing it
Yeah.
just like a hobby kind of thing, or like
No,
I
it
just go
was
all the
like
time. But were you like on
I
like,
was like competing. I was doing like half pipe and slope style, like the
oh,
snowboard park stuff. Yeah.
okay,
And
cool.
then yeah, got like some sponsors early on when was like 15, 14, 15. Would travel to like nationals for the snowboard. For half pipe was like kind of my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it kind of brought me around. Would travel and do contests and stuff. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't even really remember. I think that all just organically happened back then. Was like you people saw you in person because there were not very many girls doing it. So like the local shop sees you. It's like in skating too. I don't know how familiar you are, but like usually it starts where you get like a shop sponsorship. So like the local skate shop or snowboard shop is like, these are the kids on our team, and then they kind of introduce the brands to you because
Mm.
they've kind of got like a roster, and then the brands will come in to do like demos or whatever, and they're like, well, who are the kids that are ripping? And then they're like, meet this person, and it kind of just would happen naturally like that. And then like you could send in sponsor me tapes and that kind of stuff to people. Now it's all just on Instagram, but
Mm.
um yeah, that's how it happened for me. The snowboard shop was like my intro
How was that
to all that.
as like I'm assuming you were like a teenager at this point,
Yeah.
and like how was that as a teenager to like, do you remember the first brand that sponsored you?
Mhm.
Like I mean to get that officially, was it by way of the store kind of putting you on, or was it like did you
Yeah,
reach out to
yeah.
them, or how did
Yeah,
that
the
go?
store, the Sunny Breeze Snowboard Shop was like OG, like sick shop in Maine. And I met them like snowboarding at the local resort. And
Hmm.
they were just like, oh, you're that little girl that's like always ripping. And then, yeah, and then they, they knew like the team manager at this a snowboard brand called Winter Stick, which was like a pretty small brand, but it was so sick to just like get free boards. Like that's like your dream. And then you're just like, then you're even more exposed to like all the art. You're seeing so many more graphics, you're seeing more boards, that's like who I got to sit down with and talk about graphics. And um I used to just like sketch snowboard graphic. I probably have it in my studio here. I have like a bunch of old sketchbooks, but like I used to sketch snowboard graphics in my sketchbook when I was like 10 years old. So it's definitely been just like a lifelong pursuit of this. But yeah, you're so hyped as a teenager to be like getting free stuff from just to do your favorite thing ever. Like I was obsessed. It was so fun.
Then you said that you went to a snowboard camp. Is that High Cascade?
Yeah, High Cascade was where I worked. Yeah.
Hmm. And can you tell me a little bit about that? I did some research. I heard that was a very
Yeah.
influential place for you.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it was like but let's see, my first summer there was 2007 and I was like 18. Um that's where I met my now husband because he was a pro snowboarder and was working there too. But it was like the heyday or a heyday. There's been several heydays in snowboarding, but that was a real heyday for High Cascade, like the era of everyone going there. So I met brands, I met pro, like, and working at that camp was like, it was hard to get a job there because everybody wanted to work there that snowboarded. So once you were in, it was like a very, like, it was a tight knit community. And snowboarding's relatively small. So, like, everyone came through there. And now, like, the dirt bags that were hanging out now are running brands, like big brands. So it's just cool to like be in a community like snowboarding and see the evolution of it over the course of my life so far. You know, like it's just been really, really pivotal to have a community like that.
I've never snowboarded before, but
We're gonna
I've always
change that.
wanted
We're gonna
to.
get you out here.
Bet. I'm like, is I know that it's exercise. Like it's a
Yeah.
sport. It looks very challenging, but like what's getting work? You know, because like
Yeah,
your legs are
yeah.
moving, but they're not like you're not like running. You're not kind of. It's a
Right.
lot of
Yeah,
lean, but
surprisingly, you'd be like so out of breath once you got to the bottom, which is kind of counterintuitive. Um, I mean, day one, just your ass will hurt because you'll be on it the whole time. It's definitely a leg burner. Your legs are burning. It's like a wall sit. You ever do wall
ooh,
sits?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a wall sit. Like if you're not ready for the season, first few runs, you're just like, I should have done more wall sits over the summer.
Mm.
So it's like that. It's a very core. Um, there's definitely some endurance happening, but it's not like running. You're not full out of breath. But it depends on if you're riding powder, then you're even more out of breath. If it's tracked out, if tons of people have been riding it, then it's really bumpy. And if you're going really fast and bumpy, then it's really tiring. So there's so many, or if you're like a half pipe run is like, I don't know, 8 hits in the half pipe, and you're just so locked in the whole time that by the bottom, you're out of breath. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, it's endurance and like strength heavy for sure.
Yeah, especially
That's
like
why I'm so buff.
man, I knew it had to be core, had to be a lot of
Lots of
core
core.
because like the
Yeah.
way that like because I'm sure that board is heavy and like if you're trying to do like a backflip or like a barrel or something
Yeah.
like that's all
Yeah.
you got to pull that around, you know, and
Yeah.
so
It's less like the board is probably lighter than you think it is. And it's so much physics that you're not like, I mean, people are doing like triple corks now.
mm,
My I'm an old lady now, so we ain't doing no triple cork. But yeah, I'm sure some people are hucking. People are hucking their carcasses, and it
mm,
must be. I don't do that. I'm
mm,
more like, but I also do a lot of backcountry stuff, so that's like out. where people aren't out there and you're hiking mountains to ride powder down. That's like the big mountain stuff. That's why I
So,
live in
mhm,
Reno, because there's so much access in Tahoe to backcountry stuff.
mhm.
Um,
Can
which
you
is
tell me a little bit of
access.
the?
This is,
Mm.
we could get into the weeds if we want to,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Let's go.
it's it's accessed by split boarding is how I do it mostly. Like you can snowmobile. I don't snowmobile. Tahoe is a great place to split board, and this is when you have a snowboard
Hmm.
and you it splits in two, and then you put bindings. It goes on the opposite sides. That doesn't matter. Someone listening who knows what I'm talking about is like laughing, but um, basically you ski up the mountain.
Hmm.
You put skins on the bottom of your board,
Hmm.
and these skins only work, they don't slide backwards. It's like old
Okay.
school. It's like how people in Alaska used to get around, like
Oh,
skinning.
okay. I think I can
And
understand.
it
Hmm.
would come from like putting actual like animal skin on your boards. Like there's little hairs that work one way but not the other way. It's like
Hmm.
Velcro almost. So anyway, you're walking up to the top. You put your snowboard back together. Put your
Hmm.
poles in your backpack. You got your avalanche beacon. You got a probe and a shovel. You got like you have to be like knowledgeable in avalanches and stuff because that gets real out there. And then you're riding like lines and big faces and like chutes and cliffs, and that is what I do more now, which is
Hmm.
very fun.
Hmm.
And that's taken me all over the world too. I've gotten to do that a lot of places, which is amazing.
I definitely want to ask more about the places you've gone to snowboard, but
Yeah.
I'm I'm trying to get more familiar with what it like the backcountry snowboarding
Yeah.
in general. Like how far is that? I'd say like how far is that from a beginner's level?
Depends on where you live. Like there's places that like if you can link turns and you're comfortable riding like black diamonds at a resort, like you could go split boarding. There's a
Hmm.
lot of like low angle treed zones that are less exposed to avalanches, that if you're going like with people who know what they're doing, then skills wise, you don't have to be like an insane snowboarder, but you want to know like what you're up against because it can get sketchy. Like you're out, there's no ski patrol, there's no like, and there's a lot of things that can happen in the snow. So it's more of like a knowledge. It's kind of similar to murals where you're like you don't have to be like the best painter, but like if you have a set of like you're familiar with like the certain base
Like
knowledge, like you
fundamentals and
can,
stuff.
yeah, like you can kind of get it done, but um yeah, it can, I mean, people go to some crazy places and split board and or they're just like 70, so we see like 75-year-olds out cruising. So it's like it's a cool mix.
Hmm. And then like how does the board like I'm sure there's some technology
I wish
that
I
comes
had
with
one in here.
how's it I'm curious as to like how does it stay like locked together? I hate to like be
Yeah.
going up something and then it it split apart or something and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, the cool part is like on the way up, you're in skis, or it's in half. So your
Hmm.
bindings are like forward instead of sideways.
Oh, so it's like
It's
it's split
full.
long ways, not like
Yeah, it's split
halfway.
long ways. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's
okay,
split
okay,
long
okay.
ways. So you're like skiing up, and then when you get to the top, you pull your bindings off, and then the board it kind of does like this.
I think it snaps in. Okay.
And then when you put the bindings on,
Oh, it's
it
over.
crosses this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the
Mm.
bindings hold it like it's not going anywhere. And the technology is so good these days that it feels just like a normal snowboard. Like back when we did it, even like 15 years ago, it wasn't as good.
Mm.
But now they feel like normal snowboards. But it's just way faster, and you don't have to, like, if you were snowshoeing up, you'd have to be carrying your snowboard.
Mm-hmm.
And snowshoes, like, you're kind of post-holing and you kind of like trudging along. Skis, you can glide, so
Mm-hmm.
it's way faster, and you don't have to carry all your stuff. But it's crazy.
And can one like practice skateboarding in preparation for snowboarding, or is that like, do they not translate that well?
The balance and like confidence and like scoping lines and seeing things and being comfortable like flowing around translates, but snowboarding's like you're heavier footed. Like if I've been snowboarding a bunch and then I go to skate, I feel crazy. Or but then like skating's way harder. Skating's like the hardest. It's not
Okay.
attached to your feet. You're on concrete. The
Mm-hmm.
tiniest little thing can lead like the biggest slam. Snowboarding, you at least are on snow and it's attached to your feet. Um, but it's like it's not like a one for one practice one, you're good at the other. But a lot of people are good at both. But
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, I wouldn't be like, all right, just go skate a bunch and then I'll take you snowboarding and you'll be fine. Like it's not like
That's
that.
on the beast.
I wish it
Okay.
was like that.
I was like, dang, I got some homies with some skateboards. I'm like, man, let me get mine. Let me get
It
yours,
won't
man.
hurt. That won't
Uh,
hurt. Skating won't hurt snowboarding. Snowboarding can hurt your skating because you're
okay.
heavier footed.
Mm.
You
And
want to
what
be
about?
like twinkle
Mhm.
toes.
Oh,
No, it's
okay.
all good.
And what about in comparison to skiing? Do you do any skiing? How is that versus snowboarding?
I've been skied since I was like 3. But I guess, I mean, I split board, so some people
Mm.
are like, that's skiing. Yeah, it's just like so different.
Hmm. Okay. I do a lot of like I can't understand how snowboarding feels, but I can understand the switch between like I do a lot of roller skating and
Right,
then like
right.
and then I'll do like ice skating sometimes. But
Uh-huh.
and the main difference is like having like that one blade versus like the quad wheels, and so you get kind of like two edges versus the one.
Yep.
And that whole feel of like if you go ice skating and then go roller skating, like it's wild. Like as soon as I got on the floor, I try to turn. I'm like, oh, I'm down. Like, what is this?
Yeah, that's like snowboarding, skating, and surfing too. Because I surf too, but not as much as skate and snow. But like, you'll be on a longboard and you're like, oh, this is perfect. This is great. This is just, I'm used to this. And then you go to turn like you're on a skateboard or a snowboard, and the whole thing just stays there. And then you just tip over.
Yeah, it's that grip, man. Like that
Yeah.
the water and the ice is so much
Yeah.
more just forgiving in terms of like it'll just kind of let you glide over whatever, but then you hit that
Yeah.
concrete, man, that wheel gonna turn and it's over with. Mm,
I'm sure you could like with ice skating and roller skating, like I'm sure you could go ski tomorrow and be
mm,
fine.
mm,
But
okay,
snowboarding might take you like a couple of days, but then you'd be fine.
okay.
It's like really quick to be able to just go down the mountain on skis, and I think that's why most people start with skis.
Mm.
Um, it's just like a little more nuance to learn snowboarding, but um, we're all just sliding around on
Oh,
pieces
nice.
of wood for fun. It's great.
Yeah.
It's all silly. It's all silly and fun.
And what kind of places? Where have you been? Where's snowboarding taken you?
I mean, the coolest place I've gone is Japan a couple times to
Ooh.
snowboard. And the most memorable snowboard experience I've had is on one of the volcanoes out there. You can splitboard up the top and then you can drop into the volcano, like and you go in. It's not an active volcano. You drop in
I
and you rip all the way down the crater, and then you're down in the crater and you're looking around. It's a 360 view that just looks like the Alps or something. Like it's just like looks like mountains, and then you climb back out, and then you snowboard all the way down the outside of the volcano. So it's like a up, down, back up, back down. It was the sickest thing I've ever done.
That sounds, dang, that sounds cool. Being able to like
Yeah.
snowboard into a volcano. I mean, that sounds like something you would paint. Like,
I know. Well, I mean, that's what you see so many mountains, like I'm painting mountains constantly, like um yeah, I once I started painting and drawing the stuff, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but like once I started painting and drawing the things that I do or really connect with, or what I used to doodle, what I used to like illustrate, that's when it really started working for me as like I could do this every day. I think there was a little period like during my art school days where I was like, I need to be like a plein air landscape painter, like something just run of the mill. Um, but then I kind of went back to my roots and was like, I just like drawing stuff that makes me laugh or smile or feels like me. And once I started doing that, that's when like the actual having it as like a career started working.
yeah,
And it's
it's
all these
like,
experiences, yeah.
yeah, it really enriches your craft. And that was something as a, like, as a teenager kid just coming up. It was so, I'm like, man, how do people come up with all this stuff? How do people think of these
Right?
things? Um and they're always like, just you just pull it from life. But I guess as a kid, like, I didn't really, man, I went to school, I had friends and stuff like that. I did some sports, but it didn't really feel like, maybe I wasn't looking at the right things in life.
Right.
Or I hadn't really, like, we traveled for like, went to Disney World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like when you travel and you go like for the thing that you want to go for, or like to meet people that are there, or like kind of really get those like um life enriching experiences that you'll get traveling like as an adult or traveling solo.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's really nice that like it's easier to make art now than whenever I was younger, just because like you have so much more to pull from now. And like you
Yeah.
actually know what to look for too.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like young artists often ask me like advice on how to make it in as a career, and uh, the main thing is just like just keep creating, keep painting, keep drawing, because it took me, I don't know, 28 years to get to the style that I have now. So like it's just you just keep doing it. And like you're saying, like you'll build experiences in life, and like what do you want to say, and who are your people, and what's your community, and like what do you want to see in the world, and those types of things can't be taught, so you kind of just have to live your life. And like if it turns into a career, cool, and if it doesn't, then at least you're still making the stuff you want to see in the world. So yeah, I think that's how I went about it too, of like I never thought it would be a job, but I just wanted to make the stuff. And it was a struggle, like you're saying, when you're younger, you're like, what am I even doing? But if there's just those little things that keep reoccurring in your art, or you keep getting excited to pursue, then those are like the little things that you need to like pay attention to. And looking back now, I didn't know that at the time, but if I had stuck with those things, like maybe I would have gotten to where I am sooner, maybe not, but it's kind of just those like little bits of magic that like you don't realize are there. It's the stuff that's not doesn't feel like you're forcing it, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like I heard somebody say it's the whisper among all the noise. you
Yeah.
know it's like that the little voice, like you'll hear it, but you got to kind of listen for it you know
Yeah. and
Yeah.
trust it. It's really hard. It's so much easier to be like, oh, I suck. I don't know what I'm doing. Nothing's working. But there's got to be some at least little glimmer of like, what do you want to say? Who do you want to be? Like, what do you want to see in the world?
Mhm.
It's so cool.
There was a question I had that like I think that I mean we can all look at your career and your track record and like the people you've worked with and say that like you've made a very successful career for yourself. And there's so many artists that are like they're like, man, I want to get there one day. And it's not so much on like a not a how do we get there, but could you really tell either yourself when you were like younger and like wanting to get there or people that are wanting to get there now, like can you kind of tell us what it's really like in terms of like, okay, this is really cool, but it also, I got to do this or I have to get up at this time or it requires this much work, can you tell us like what it really feels like or what it really means to be in your position?
It feels amazing, first of all, to be able to create the things that I want to make. And I've tried to have that be my kind of guiding light and say yes to projects and work with brands and stuff that I really try to align with. That being said, getting there, you have to grind and you got to like take the jobs just to learn what not to do. But, like right now, it's for me, it feels like staying diverse, keeping a low overhead so that I'm not having to take on jobs that don't feel right. Um, Chasing the freelance 1099s is it's a tricky game for sure. You don't get benefits and you kind of go through ups and downs. We're in a weird time in the art market right now, and I know a lot of colleagues and friends and illustrators and muralists are struggling, and I am not seeing the same sort of buzz that, a few years ago was popping. But um, I think for me, the goal is to just like stay steady, stay inspired, doing these things like being out in nature and doing all the fun things so that my life isn't just solely based around like when is that next email of this next epic project coming. um I don't know if that really answers anything, but it's like a delicate balance of staying motivated, inspired throughout all the ups and downs of like I can't just go and hit up a million brands or people to do commissions for or walls to paint. A lot of it's out of your hands, I think, like as a creative, making it your job. Like a lot of it is just like, I'm just painting this. Do you like it? Like, and just kind of hoping that the next thing will come. And just trying to stay confident that it will, and if you're making the stuff that feels authentic to you and you're inspired to make, then like that's success too. If you have to get another job or you end up working in house for a design agency, like not looking at those things as failures at all has definitely been a thing that I'm trying to stay keep it in my head too of like, just if this wasn't your only job, that's still fine. That's great. Like it doesn't have to be like the end all be all as long as you're inspired and making this stuff. Um yeah, that's kind of it's an interesting, amazing, scary, awesome, all the emotions. How about you? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think everything you said was absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that especially because it's not booming like it used
Yeah.
to, um or at least I don't know if it's like because there's still a lot that goes on, and so I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm
totally.
like, am I on the wrong like is there like other stuff going on in a different lane? Like is this lane just like inactive now, or like what's going on? Because I see murals going up like every other day in the city, and so I'm like
I know.
somebody's painting, and I'm like, well,
Someone's always
so,
paying. And we have to also like not be perpetuating. I think I saw this somewhere. Was there some podcast? Someone was talking like they're like if we just keep saying that the art market's bad, then
it's not.
collectors are gonna get cold feet or whatever. Like we are. I am still working. Like just finished 2 fun projects. I've got some stuff for group shows. I have another mural in the works. Like things are happening, but it's not like maybe it's not. Maybe social media is just throwing us off because no one sees posts anymore.
Oh man, I'm so glad that you brought this up. I'd love to jump on this soapbox for real
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I think about I feel like I know that like Instagram and like other social media platforms algorithms, pretty sure that they use AI to like kind of run their algorithms nowadays, and
right.
so they're even better at kind of tracking your activity and tracking what it is you want to see and like kind of pushing everything else back. And so I think that for a lot of people, like we're not really connected anymore. It's more so like everybody's in a cocoon, like everybody's in their own little egg or whatever, and we're just all on the same platform, but we're in completely different worlds. Like I look at my lady's Instagram, like if we both go on each other's explore
Yeah,
page, it looks like two different apps.
so
And it's
different.
like
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, is this the same? You on Instagram, right? Why is mine so vastly different? And I even hear about homies who, they just had a show 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
never saw anything. And they were posting like crazy for the last 2, 3 months. Didn't see a
So
thing. And I'm like,
it's so bad.
what is happening
I
right
don't
now?
know. I
And
don't know.
I don't get it. And I think like some of the opportunities that would come around in Atlanta, some of them, certain mural festivals that were yearly, or I know like the Atlanta Beltline puts out a call for murals every, like around a certain point of the year. And like I would never see them, but I'm just thinking like, oh dang, it just didn't happen or whatever. And then I go look it up and I missed it. And I'm like, oh wow, it's gone. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
and it's one of them things where I don't know. I don't know if like I don't really want to go about turning on post notifications because then my phone's just gonna get blown up.
Right. Right.
And so
And how
I
do you
don't know.
pick what? Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
feel
I
like
know.
it's
It's
more
so
the
crazy.
yeah, I think it's more of like I feel like maybe it might be time for like newsletters. Like, and this is what I'm
Well,
thinking
yeah.
because like
Yeah.
everybody checks that email. It don't matter who you are, what you do, you checking that
For
email,
sure.
especially as a
How do
freelancer,
you
you
get people
checking.
to sign up for your newsletter? That's what I keep trying to do. I'm like slowly building my
Mm-hmm.
newsletter subscribers, but like I think that is the move. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm posting about it on Instagram, and my story will get like maybe 200 views, and then I'm like,
And you have an
5 people
army.
clicked on it.
Like you've got
Yeah,
you've
you'd
got
think.
several followers. Like,
Yeah, you'd think that more, and sometimes it goes crazy. It'll be something dumb, obviously, that I'll post, and I'm like, that was a picture of a funny cat I saw, and that just went
it's
crazy.
going crazy. Everybody's reacting and hearting and
Yeah.
laughing. And you're like, bro, that was a PB&J, bro. Like, check
Yeah.
out the artwork. I just I just dropped some heat and y'all just jumped over it.
Well, that's the problem. Like, I even find myself like, I started like going on Artsy as like instead of Instagram because I just want to like scroll and look at art that I like, and the Instagram will be like showing me things I do not care about. Some celebrity's nose job that I'm like, I don't, why are you showing me this? So I started going on Artsy, like the app,
Mhm.
and then I find myself just being like, a human brain is not designed to see this much epic art in one, like 10 minutes. I just saw like, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like, what? I need to go, like, we need to be going to galleries and looking at this stuff in person, but it's insane to be like inundated with that much like incredible art. Your brain can't, it does not compute.
Yeah, and
So I don't
even
know
like
what,
even on Insta, like it's not
yeah,
always art, but just even the stuff that people will see just in a span of 5 minutes on somebody's stories. You might see like some food, and then you see like some crazy event, and then you see like like some political message or like some trigger warning stuff, and then like a
yeah.
cat, and then and
You're
it's
just
like
sweating afterwards. You're just like, oh my
yeah,
god.
and I'm like, there's no other point of time where people were able to just see all of those things right
No.
after another in quick succession like that. And
Yeah.
feel like it's
Do you
tearing us up a
find,
little bit.
yeah, do you find like with any like younger friends kind of returning a little bit back to like not, yeah, like analog stuff?
Mm, not the younger people, but like my
Yeah.
friends, like my age, are starting to do that. Like I know a friend who, they work at like a recycling plant, and people kind of give old technology and stuff. She's been
Yeah.
like taking iPods and DSs and like this old like DVD players and like fixing them and
Sick.
putting stuff on them. And so
Cool.
now she just got like, I think she feels a certain kind of way about Spotify. I'm not really plugged in on the politics behind Spotify, but
Yeah,
she's
I don't
like,
know.
nah, Spotify. So she's like moving all of her music to these iPods. And I was like, yo, I
Sick.
never thought people would be using like the shuffle, the little clip joint. Like I
Dude,
never thought people would be
I
using that again.
remember the shuffle clip while you're snowboarding. You're just on the lift, just clipped up. You're high.
Yeah, I mean, I think I never had a shuffle. I think the only iPod I ever had was the Nano, and I didn't even
Yeah.
have that for very long. I don't even know what happened to it. I think I lost it.
Yeah.
But I've
It's
seen
too
people like,
small.
yeah, and it was so hard to like, the part that sucked was that you had to put the music on there, and like I didn't have a computer, and so like I could really only do
Mm,
it um like my cousin was the only person I knew that had a computer and knew how to run those programs, and so like
yeah.
I would only be able to get new music like every 2-3 months when we went to go and see them. So I'm like, man, this is not sustainable.
That's
I'm
amazing.
I got the same 14 songs, I'm running it.
Hey, I am from the burn CDs era, so I get it where you're like, this is I can't find my CD player, and
Yeah.
you're just like, I have this. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I remember when we finally, I mean, I don't know if this might have been old for me because I'm like younger, but
Yeah.
the little cassette tape aux joint. Like when you could put
Oh
the cassette
yeah.
in there and then plug it into your phone. That was like
Oh yeah.
my first car had a little cassette, little slot. I put that in there and I'm like, oh, we're good. I don't need
Dude,
anything else.
that was like top of the line technology for me at one point. Just like, you can do this? Wow.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we've
but
come a long way.
yeah, and I mean, I do like the idea of these like, I mean, the analog things are really good because there's no distractions. I
Yeah.
recently um it's funny, like I found my old DS after like a couple of years, and I was playing Pokemon on there just for like old time's sake. And
Yeah.
it was amazing how I'm playing and I kept expecting something to drop down. Like a notification, like an email, a text, I kept expecting something to drop down on the DS, or like if
Yeah.
I'm playing Pokemon, I'm like, man, I need to figure out what this thing is weak to, and then I start to kind of swipe up, like, oh, let me go to Google. No, this is a DS. Your
No,
phone is downstairs. And I'm like, dang, look at how we've been spoiled. This is crazy.
I know, like everything is just at your fingertips. It's so crazy.
Mm,
I still have not. I'm not like. I was slow on the Instagram train to like even get it. I kind of just like wait for stuff and I know I'll figure it out. And that's kind of how I feel about AI too. I'm like, I've never checked GPT.
uh-huh.
I know that if I need, like, if it becomes what you do, then I'll do it. But until then, I'm kind of like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But I know, like, people are using crazy AI stuff for, like, applying to, like, every public art call. Like, you can
Mm.
just apply to everything. I'm over here typing out my applications for everyone, being like, I'm going to try to get this one done by November 17th, like, but some people
Uh-huh.
are just savvy with all that stuff and figuring out how to, I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe I need to take a class.
I don't know. Like there's a part of me that wants to kind of lean into the direction technology's going, but then there's another
Yeah.
part. I was talking to my lady about this. We were thinking like this might be like the extreme of like a pendulum, where it's like it's
I hope
about to
so.
start kind of going back the other way, and
I
so
hope so.
all these people leaning are gonna like kind of
Yeah.
miss the beat,
Right.
because there's so many spaces now. There's places like in Atlanta where you can kind of go, and there you have to like leave your phone at the door, or like
Oh,
in
cool.
like a little cubby or whatever, um just so that like there is no technology in these spaces. I think it's called the
Whoa.
offline club, if I'm not mistaken. But
Sweet.
um or just, I even think about like when we go skating, a lot of us, we just like leave our phones and stuff in our bags or like in the
It's the
car or
best.
whatever, and we just go and we just enjoy the music and just be out there. And anybody that has their phone, it's because like they're recording themselves
Right.
skating or like
Right.
other people skating, but it's not like you're not seeing people on TikTok
Just
or whatever in the rink.
that's sick. I'm glad to know that there's young people doing stuff with other phones. That's like, we were talking the other day about nature and like how, you're always seeing me out doing stuff in nature. And like, I feel like the complete opposite of your phone, like your phone makes you compare yourself to others and feel like you're not doing enough. And like, your life is just like so like important on that thing, and then you go into nature and you're like, oh, I am like a tiny speck in this and I don't matter. And that to me is so refreshing. Like, I need that. I need to be like connected to things that feel like they really matter, like this tree and like things that are so much bigger than me and will be here after me and do not care how many followers I have or anything. Like, you're so connected to just like the vastness of the natural world and reminded that like we are part of, like, we are nature. And when you're on
Mhm.
your phone, you do not feel like nature.
Yeah.
So, like, I love it, and I like we would not be talking without our phones. Like, I love the connections I have, and like I'm able to live in a place like Reno that I don't have a huge art community here. Like, there's a lot of sick artists here, but like my art community is online a lot of the time. So like I have no I love using my phone, but it's about the balance for me. Like, and you don't have to be in some like vast nature. Like, for you, even when I was in Atlanta and I was on like the rail trail, that thing is sick.
Hmm.
Like, and you can just go. Trees are amazing. Like, there's birds. Like, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be like snowboarding into the middle of a volcano, but like that's cool too.
That'll
Like
work.
nature's yeah, nature is all around us, and like we are part of nature, and like for me and my art, that's such an important piece of the puzzle. Um, yeah, to tie it all back in. It's all about balance, really, with all of this,
Hmm.
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even with with all the sports and stuff too.
Yeah.
And um, I remember you speaking about. I was watching a video when I was doing research on you. It was like you said that being out in nature, like you practice staying in the moment,
Yeah, yeah.
of where you are. And I was speaking to somebody. Do you know Sunitna?
I
He's an
don't know.
artist. He's based out of here.
Okay.
He's a his work is like very gestural, and like he does a lot of portraits and like
Cool.
flowers and things. But he
I might have seen this stuff before.
his stuff is wild. But he spoke about how I think it sounds like some superhuman stuff to me. But he says that
Yeah,
his mind is basically, 8 to 9 times out of 10, you check him at any given moment. It's like thoughts are kind of just there are no thoughts. He's in the current moment.
that's
And I'm
amazing.
like, yo, that's wild. And I'm curious to know if you've caught any of that in terms of like, I asked him how easy it was for him to catch a flow state whenever he's painting. And he's like, to be honest, I mean, it's not even like me trying to make it seem like something else. It's just as soon as I sit down, I'm there. I'm ready.
That's
And
incredible.
I'm like, and the thing is like I don't know if you've caught some of that, like if it's easier for you or if easier or better how to like get to that place. I'm curious to know like how where your mind goes out in nature, or how you can kind of get it to a state of like stillness, whether you're creating or if you're just kind of out there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the goal always with all this stuff. Like, you know, ripping my mountain bike on a trail, you have to be in the moment because 1 second you hit a stump the wrong way and you're flying over the handlebars. So, like those those activities, snowboarding, skating, mountain biking, like the things that force you to be in the moment, I think have taught me what that feeling is and other ways to achieve it, aka painting. That's I think that's why I really like doing clean line work because I find that translates more to like a forced flow state where you're like don't mess up, kind of like once you just like drop in with this line or on a mini ramp, like you got to commit. So I think I find it, I'm not as I'm not as like enlightened as your homie who can just like sit down and be in it. Like I need to force it a little bit with that like initial commitment, and then once I'm like tapped in, I could stay in it for a long time. And that's the bet. Like that's what I live for. Like, and if I can get it physically on my snowboard and then come to the studio later that day and get it while I'm painting, like that's best day ever. Like that's like it. But it's not all, there's some days where like I got to listen to a podcast the whole time, or like I'm kind of grinding on the background of a painting and there's a lot of fills that aren't as like focus driven. So there's some days where it comes easier and some that it doesn't. And I think if I haven't been like outside in a while, I have a harder time in the studio like being present. So I need that balance of like getting my willies out outside and then coming in. So it's really like a physical thing for me to find the flow state in order to also find it while I'm painting, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if you know, but like how do you stay in there? And what I mean by that
Yeah.
is like I'm thinking about, whether you're surfing and you're like if you're in the little tunnel and like that's
Mhm.
intense focus. You move anything, and you're in the water.
Yeah.
You're in the water immediately, or
Yeah.
um, you know, if you I don't know if you like grind rails and stuff when you're skateboarding, but like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, you on there
Yeah.
and you're going there for
One
the duration of
second.
it. Yeah, and you're and
Yeah.
you're you're the other way. And
Yeah.
even with like line work, if you're messing around with ink or paint, like
Yep.
you can see like
Spray paint
jitters.
just yeah.
Yeah. And so like I mean, especially for your types of lines, they're very consistent all the way around. And so like
Mhm.
if you come off the wall a little bit, dang, I'm doing my joint.
Whoa,
Hold on.
look at that zoom.
I got these
That
motion
was
controls on these
incredible.
camera. Hold on, man. They got
What?
that a lot
Oh,
going
mine
on.
didn't work. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
See, that's the lock in. That was the lock in phase right
Yeah,
there.
I was so locked in on you. It would just
But yeah, like I mean, even with the line work for the can and stuff, like you there's sometimes like I've seen it like from whenever I was watching you paint at Plaza Walls, like
yeah.
sometimes you gotta take a line all the way around and like
Yep.
how do you not fall out of that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, A is practice and repetition. So like building a confidence, whether you're snowboarding or painting, it's just like build the confidence to be like, when I do this, I'm doing this. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no second guessing. So like I think yeah, it's definitely confidence and like breathing, focus, like just I think it's confidence. Because if you're confident, then you can do it. You're not going to second guess it midway through whatever you're doing, which
Mm-hmm.
I have done plenty of times and messed up lines and also broken my back. Like
Mm-hmm.
you lose focus. I have done that. Um, Thankfully recovered fine from my injuries so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, you learn that just like the second you take your eyes off something, like I've hit trees on my mountain bike because I'm like just hauling and then you just look up quick and then you go the way you look.
Woo. Yeah.
So you gotta just know, like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. My husband and I even sometimes, like, if we're not super in the zone while we're skating or whatever, and one of us is looking a little sketchy, we're like, if you're gonna skate, skate. Like, get it, like, be in it, And I think that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Mm,
Don't second guess yourself.
mm. Yeah.
And
Can't
that's my
can't be
TED
no half
talk.
stepping. That's a real one. That's very real. I was gonna ask you if you had ever hurt yourself doing these sports, and like
Yep.
you said, is the you broke your back?
I did break my back, yeah, overshooting a jump, snowboarding, just compression fractures in my
Mm-hmm.
T9 and T12. So wasn't like surgery or anything, just like
Mm-hmm.
physical therapy and um, broken some other stuff. Nothing crazy. I have a messed up toe right now, but we're getting old,
Mm,
What are you gonna do? You
mm.
gotta just keep doing it. If you don't, what is it? If you don't move it, you lose it.
Oh, yep, yep. That's what they say.
But it's
Hmm.
scary. I mean, actually, I brought one. I mean, every mural festival I've gone to, I brought my skateboard, but I brought it to ones before, and some of the other artists are like, "You're gonna go skate? Like, what if you what? What if you fall?" And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, "What if I fall on my lift or on the scaffolding? Like, it's just part of my life that there's some times that I tweak my neck and then I can't paint, but I wouldn't have been able to paint if I wasn't out doing the thing. It's all so hand in hand that like no one likes to get hurt, but you got to pay to play.
Yep. It's part of it, huh? They call it
Yeah, and you
that
can get
floor
hurt
tax.
doing anything. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I'll just keep it easy. I'll take it easy today." And then you like trip going down the stairs and you're just like, "What?
Yeah.
What
I'm
are we
gonna just
doing?"
make dinner. I'm not going
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna make dinner, and then you
And then
cut
you
yourself.
drop the pot. Yeah.
And like, well, I
So
could have just went out and bought food. Probably would
Yeah.
hurt myself.
But then in that same vein, like I try not to do stuff that I would be like super bummed if I got hurt doing. Like I'm not trying to like hop on someone's one wheel whatever like electric scooter. Like I'm trying not to get hurt doing stuff that I'd be like pretty bummed if I had to take
Go
some
tell the
days off
story.
from. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like eh, stick to my things I actually like.
Hmm. And then in terms of your work, um, what made you pick up spray paint? Like, cause you went to school
Yeah.
for painting, and then I mean, you did a lot of graphic design, but like, what got you into spray painting and the murals?
I think honestly, when I went to that first, because I haven't been using spray that long, when I went to that first mural festival, um, and Hyro was showing me some stuff, and he was like, "Your stuff's so like clean and flat, it would translate really well to using spray,"
Mm.
and it's so nice to have that in your arsenal when you are painting murals because sometimes you show up to walls that are so rough or whatever, and it can be a lot faster or just work for different applications. So just learn. I got really inspired to just like really learn how to execute with the cans the same way that I would with brush. And then there was a dude who lived in Reno called Bue the Warrior. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff, but it's so sick. And he's like kind of OG street artist. He's from Belgium, lives in Mexico, and he was spending a bunch of time in Reno. And I kept seeing his like little birds pop up in town, and I was like, damn, this stuff is so clean. It's so sick. So I ended up hitting him up to just like come paint one of his birds at my house because he was doing that at some people I knew's house. And then we ended up painting together, and then we did like two murals in Reno together, and he was so cool and like showed me so many little tricks, and like he's the cleanest, like you can't paint cleaner than him. You should check out his stuff. You would love it. But
Said Bowie
I
the
learned so
warrior.
much from, yeah, Bue. I learned so much from him. He was really generous with like, and seeing that I was doing it for the right reason. I just wanted to learn and like be able to execute my stuff that way. Um, yeah, so I was just excited to learn. As you can probably tell from the conversation, like I like to keep it interesting. I like to keep things moving. I don't just do one thing. I don't just do murals or just illustration work. So um, I love to learn, and I like to be a beginner at stuff and like see myself get better at it. And I think that's why like skateboarding specifically has been such a through line also because like I'm not even that good at skating. Like it's because it's so hard. It's like a lifelong pursuit. You could never master it. So like I enjoy falling asleep at night thinking about like okay, well if I just like flick my kickflip like that, like then I'll catch it better. Like I just love those little tricks and using your mind and body and like being in the moment and learning something is like so fun. And spray is so hard. Like you're so bad at first. I mean, I've never seen anyone just pick it up and just be able to like do something perfect. So yeah, and learning that stuff was so fun too, because like if you mess up painting, you're not gonna get hurt. So I've gotten better at painting than I ever have at skating, because like you're gonna get hurt if you mess up skating.
What's up?
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
Mm.
fun to just mess up and keep learning and trying stuff. But I love it. I often like battle my brain thinking like this last painting I did doesn't look enough like this painting because I personally feel like I don't have like a style that is so consistent. Like I envy artists that are just like I use these four colors and they look, you know, it just changed the subject matter or the size of my brush. But I feel like I'm kind of, I love just doodling, and I love painting super painterly things, and I love, like, if you went back on the whole course of my art life, you'd see like every version of a painting. But I had to hone in enough to like have a distinct enough style that like a brand would want to work with me, or like someone would want to collect some of my stuff. But I still have like an internal battle with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like the blessing and the curse with it all. Is like
Yeah,
you're always developing the style, which is like good, but then you're like, it's just I wish I could, and that's
totally.
just that bug, It's like a little tick or
Yeah,
something just in your back. It's
yeah.
just always gonna be leeching off 1%.
But that's why it is important to like have time for yourself. Like if you are a creative for your job, like I have a bunch of paintings that no one will ever see here because I
Mm,
just needed to get them out, or like thought it'd be fun to try this, but they're just for me, and I think that's really important.
absolutely. I think not enough people do that. I don't think.
Yeah,
So many of my homies, especially the ones that are like full freelance and they work, like they don't put paint to canvas unless it's for a specific project or a job. And I'm
yeah,
like, man, you gotta get stuff out on your own, like, you know.
yeah, yeah. I definitely had times where I thought that I didn't have time to do my own thing. Um, but then was realizing I was like, if I'm gonna be an artist my whole life, if this is my whole life, then this is not sustainable to like only make art when someone's paying me or whatever. Like that'll just drain it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to like, and I think that even is where the gold is a lot of times,
Yeah,
because a lot of times like the projects and the jobs, you're making somebody else's vision come to life, but
totally.
you're just doing it for yourself, after that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But I do love, like, I love doing illustration work and like bringing a client's ideas to life. Like I do love a collaboration. So I feel really grateful that I get to work with brands that I think are cool, or like nonprofit. I love working with like environmental nonprofits like Protect Our Winters and Pangea Seed, like to use my art to help tell a story that's bigger than me, and like using my passion for a purpose is so cool too, because it's not all about just drawing frogs in my studio, which is
Yeah.
also fun.
Is there Okay, that brings me to like two questions that I had. So, for one, is there like a particular collaboration that is your most favorite or your most impactful that you can remember? Um, as well as what is like, I know that you're really big on like, how would that be? Like you're very big on like protecting the environment and protecting like nature, and wanted to know, like, is there something everybody's getting wrong about that? Or like, is there like propaganda? Like, is is turning off the water when you brush the teeth? Like, is that really doing what it's supposed to be doing? Or like, are there things that people can kind of do in their daily life to help on a small scale? Just wanted to know a little bit more of like the real from the fake with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's so much noise, and I mean, big people people in high places telling you things don't matter or do matter. And I mean, I no, you turning the water off when you brush your teeth is not going to save the planet, but I am from the camp of every little thing that you do not only can help, but also just make you aware of the issues. You know, like if you are thinking about turning off the water when you brush your teeth, you're probably also turning the lights off and maybe walking or riding your bike somewhere, or shopping from your local co-op, or trying to, do X, Y, and grow your own veggies. Like if you are conscious of the little things, I think that your lifestyle and your awareness of what's happening in the world is more heightened. But I mean, at this point, it's like a bad distribution of wealth, and money is kind of the ruler of all of it. So even when we were talking about AI, like the water being used for that stuff, like it's so beyond, there's a lot happening. And there's not a whole lot you can do at your sink. But does that make sense? That like if you are thinking about turning that off, then you're probably a little more tapped into thinking about the other choices you're making?
I guess I'm looking more for like, if I'm somebody who doesn't really know, I've just kind of like heard stuff that they'd say like on Earth Day back in grade school or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, but I really actually want to do something now, and I haven't done any research. Are there any things that like we could do or first steps to kind of be more on that, be more aligned with that?
I mean, there's a lot of great, like, Protect Our Winters is a great nonprofit that you can just like go to their website and see what they're doing. It's so nuanced now that it's almost like find some like a thing that you do care about, like something a little more specific, because like at this point there's like some nonprofit or group trying to help everything because we're up against so much. I don't know, off the top of my head, it's just such a crazy nuanced problem. And I do think that we will figure it out, but yeah, like find something you're specifically, like if you're like live in Atlanta and now the summers are so hot that you can't do the things you used to do, then you could be like, wait, why are the summers getting like what? Now there's storms here that weren't there. I don't know. I don't know what the first step. Ride your bike, shop local, support local brands. Don't shop online at big shipping, transportation is a huge thing. You're ordering just like a toothpick from China, like I don't need to do that. Shopping local, supporting local, like being in your community, helping community stuff, I think could be the answer to a lot of our problems.
Okay. So it sounds like it's something that's like, I mean, it's specialized for the area too. Because like,
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
could do like where you live may not have the same impact where I live and vice versa.
Right.
You gotta
But
do a little
a lot of
research.
people are like, well, I don't live near the mountains. Why would I want to protect our winters? But you're like, well, the snow becomes runoff that then grows the food that you're getting in Atlanta. Like all of this is connected. And I think we forget that sometimes. We're like, oh, there's wildfires out west, but that doesn't matter here. But we're all on the same small planet together. Like it all matters and it is all connected. It can feel disconnected, but it's really not.
One thing, like, I think I remember them talking about like, if bees were to suddenly disappear,
Yeah,
it'd be
exactly.
something like everything would be
Catastrophic.
tore up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang.
And like
And
the topsoil, like there's like, I don't know the exact amount, but like the amount of nutritious topsoil that exists on the planet is not very much. And like that's how all the food grows. And if that goes away, which it can with like so many factors from climate change, and if that went away, we'd be
Yada yada.
There's a lot of those types of things that you're like, oh yeah, that is because of that, and that is because of that.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. And that makes me think also too about like kind of our place in the world and like what
Yeah.
we're like kind of our like purpose. And I know a lot of people say like, your purpose is made, or some people who are really religious or are, saying that, you know, God has a purpose for you, and it's something that you kind of have to live through and see. Um, how do you feel about that kind of stuff? Are you religious or?
No, definitely not religious. But I'm like more spiritual on the like there feels like there's something bigger in a nature kind of like being out in nature makes you feel connected to something bigger. Um, and I think purpose is a really tricky one. That's kind of like with a lot of like phrases and stuff I use in my work, there's a lot of philosophical topics that I kind of ruminate over, and like purpose is definitely one because I think some people feel lost because they like don't think they have a purpose and maybe put too much weight on purpose as like as a society in the US at least. I feel like there's so much weight on like, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to make your money, your millions? What's your place in like what is your purpose in all this? And I think that it's kind of gotten out of control and it's gotten too heavy, and like purpose can be so fluid, I think, and mean something different every day to someone. And I think when if you just have something that gets you out of bed in the morning, whether it's just like you're excited to have your coffee in the morning, like that can be a purpose to like get your day moving, because once you're moving then you start making better choices or whatever. Like you gotta just something's got to be the catalyst to start moving. um, but I think that purpose is a slippery slope, because if you don't feel like you have it, because I have plenty of people in my life who don't have they're not as passionate. I have like a handful of like passions that I need in my life. And so when I see people that don't have them, some part of me wants to be like, "Oh, you gotta find your passion, you gotta find your purpose." But maybe it's not for everybody, and I think that's okay. I mean, like your friend who can just be in flow state in the present, like Buddhist style, like that's I mean, if we could all do that, then we wouldn't be like asking each other what our purpose is. We would all just be present and enjoying the moment and like appreciating the sun, you know, the
Mm,
birds chirping. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's too like existential, but it's kind of my a battle with like that word, I think.
mm. Yeah, I think yeah, it's something like I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know, not in the sense of like I guess my stance on it is like your purpose is made. Like you're the one, like you experience your life and you figure out what, the meaning is to you. And
Yeah, yeah, I
depending on the
agree.
life you
Yeah.
have, you do your thing, and I don't know, it's so interesting, like cuz then the more people you meet and the more like the different ways that you see people kind of live life, you're just like, no, man, it becomes a harder question to answer the more people you meet. And
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it's like, well, no, I like to ask people just because uh I don't know, I always get something different, always something like
Yeah.
something new. And I don't know, as people who like to create everything else, it's always nice to hear how they go about like creating their sense of purpose too.
For sure. For sure.
Mhm.
And that's why I think like using my art can be like a catalyst to maybe have someone be like, oh, maybe my purpose could be helping my community, or like they see my art is like a stepping stone to like learning about an environmental nonprofit because they saw my art on like a can that the proceeds go to protect our winters or whatever. Like using my passion for a greater purpose that's bigger than me. I think maybe that's what happens too, is like purpose feels too personal sometimes. And like when we're in communities and we're like talking to each other and connecting and helping each other and like making sure we're all doing okay, like I think that that's where I find the most purpose. And I feel like it resonates with people when we're like doing things to help each other and like for the right reasons. I don't know.
I think that's it's definitely a good way to see it too, because I've never like I think that's something that all humans need, is like that sense of like connection. And I think as long as somebody is um like reaching out to kind of help the person next to them, or either that or inspiring somebody to be the person to reach out, to help the
Yeah.
next person. If everybody does that, I think it helps make the world a better place. I mean, in my opinion,
Yeah, I think
so
so.
um hmm, yeah. It's an interesting thing. Like it's just like it's a puzzle with no wrong answers.
Totally.
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
all wrong answers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you never really know. And then
We
it's
don't
like,
even know why we're on the planet. We're
yeah,
just floating on a rock in space.
and then the part two where it's like, you know, for what we know, we have this one life, and
Yeah.
we don't know. I mean, some people believe in reincarnation, some people believe like, you kind of get over and over again, or some people believe you go to like an afterlife, like a heaven or hell. Some people think it's just like turning the light off and it's just you're just
Yeah.
done. It's over, and like you'll never really, like, you may not even find out, and that's
Right.
the part that's crazy to me, that I'm like trying to figure
I
out, like, you
know.
may not ever find out, which is crazy. Hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of inspires me to
Yeah.
just like
I know.
make it, make my, just kind of really just do my own thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you can't figure it out. If
Yeah,
if
you got
there's
it.
no way to figure it out, you might as well just like do you in the meantime.
Exactly. And like not take things too seriously. Like my hair is going crazy. I'm in the
Really.
it's we're mirrored. So then I was like, "Oh, I got to fix this."
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be like that. Um,
Yeah. Not taking things too seriously is kind of the most important. I mean, I guess I can get you into some weird scenarios, but
hmm. Hmm. Speaking of purpose too, I mean, it's kind of a stretch from purpose, but
yeah.
I know that you do in your work, you have a lot of like recurring characters or like subject matter.
Yeah.
And I mean, and there's things that are like easier to pull from, where it's like, okay, like you like to snowboard, you grew up snowboarding, like you do the mountains, or, you know, but then I've also seen you like make the mountain like meditate, and a lot of times they're kind of like crisscross applesauce, or like their hands are together,
Yeah.
and it has like a symbolism of like, kind of being still almost. And curious to know if you have, if other characters in your arsenal have other lore or purposes or like subtle meanings and gestures as well.
Yeah, I love having like a visual language of characters that can mean different things in different settings, or um I have a lot of snails in there, and those kind of for me often mean just like taking your time, slow down. I like to have like mushrooms in there because there's such a crazy, like they're all connected. They connect so many things in nature. Like the mycelium under the ground is like how trees communicate with each other and stuff. Like I just love all that symbolism in nature. And then like frogs can frogs are often like humor to me, and like I've just always liked frogs and lizards and like creatures that you kind of just laugh, and if you see them you're just like, oh, there's a cute little frog. Like they just have always made me happy. And then yeah, love birds. I don't know, just like finding, they can just be like little meanings to me in the painting, or it can be like a more obvious, like this mountain is meditating. But yeah, having a reoccurring cast of characters is so fun for me to play with and pull from. I think it's important for me to feel like I have like this visual language um, to play with.
And did you catch them one by one, like Pokemon or something? Like where you like started off with one
Kinda,
and
it's
kind of
yeah,
added a, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I
Hmm.
kind of felt like that. Like um, they just started building off of each other, and like just looking through sketchbooks and stuff and seeing, pulling characters. Like I used to do like a sketchbook of like, or like a sketchbook page of like all eyeballs, and then one of like all mouths, and one of like when I was a kid, and just like build these characters from that. So it was kind of that same sort of thing, like expressing these feelings through simple shapes and colors, and like as simple of a character I can make to help tell a bigger story. I really like that, stripping things down. But yeah, like kind of just built them one after another. Um, it's
Hmm.
fun. It's fun to have like the balance too. Like I always like to have like some skulls or flames, or like it's not all just rainbows and butterflies. Like there's a balance when it pulls you in. Like there's lighthearted shapes and colors, but like once you get in there, you'll often see like, oh, there's like flames and spider webs and skulls, to just remind us that like this is all happening at once. There's like an irony in nature too. Like
There's a million ways that you could have portrayed that contrast, but
yeah,
what made you pick like skulls and flames? Was it just kind of like, I know that there is like if you're like me, there's just like that part. It's like it's just because they're just damn cool. That's just what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Or like,
There's aspects like that,
okay.
but then there's also like, you know, if you spend a lot of time in the woods out west, like wildfires are such a thing, but you see like secondary succession is the regrowth after a fire.
Hmm.
And that's such a cool concept to me, where I'm like, yeah, these flames look cool, but they also have so much symbolism and so much meaning if you want to like take it there. I like to give like a viewer the option to like stay on the surface and just like have fun with it, or take it as deep as you want. Because there's some days where I feel deep, and then there's some days where I just want to mess around and have fun, you know? So, um, yeah, I like the things that can have like a lot of different meanings.
Man, that's such a nice place to be where you can draw the same thing and choose,
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
got like two levels,
totally. Yeah.
It's like it's it's a weird comparison, but it's like one of those toilets where like you got like the one button or the two, like you could do like a light flush,
Yes.
or you could do the full
Yeah.
joint. Those toilets,
Totally. Yes.
you could just pick, I
And
think that's
let
cool.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you just never know, like, well, how you're gonna feel. I think it all, I mean, comes back to like not forcing things. You know, you just kind of got to let it flow sometimes. Sometimes you want to just mess around, and sometimes you want to like really get deep with it.
Hmm. Hmm. And have you had any like, I mean, just whether it's something that you're experiencing now or something you experienced growing up, have you had any like friction or challenges when it came to your like development in your art or in your career? Um, like what are some things that kind of got in the way or like hurdles you had to jump, um, if there are any?
I mean, I think there's just like the natural friction of not knowing who you are and what you're trying to say at the beginning. Um, the constant hurdles of like just having to stay confident that like you can keep doing it and keep telling yourself that you're doing it for the right reasons. I mean, I think a big hurdle also is like getting murals is really hard. Like it looks like it's easy to just like paint walls, but if you want to get murals, it's really hard. There's a lot of muralists now, and there's a lot of red tape, and um, I think that's a challenge that maybe people don't quite know, that like it looks like you could just people are just painting whatever. I would love to like live in LA or like be around tons of art all the time, but like that's really expensive. And I don't want a big overhead, like I was saying. Like a challenge I think is just like knowing what works for you and like how much you're willing to sacrifice in order to like live somewhere. But I like to keep me and my husband like keep our lives so simple, and that's hard. Like, we live in 300 square feet at our house. Like that's tiny, but we want to make that sacrifice so that we can be going and enjoying our lives more. So I think that's like a big challenge and like a cool, it's like a cool problem to solve almost, of like, all right, how do we get like crafty with this enough to where we can live the life we want to live, and maybe we don't have all the things we would love to have, but we have these experiences and able to both be passionate about, because he was a pro snowboarder for 20 years, so like he understands the sacrifices it takes to live your dream, because it's not like you got to get like creative in your lifestyle as well as
Your husband sounds like a cool guy. Like every time I hear about him,
he's
he's just
really
like,
cool. He's really cool. Yeah, and we've been together since we were like for like 17 years or something. Like he's my best friend, and he helps me a lot on murals and stuff. Like he'll come and fill colors, and he's super handy, and he's done like cabinetry work and finished carpentry and stuff, like so we could show up to a project and he could fix anything that's there. So it's pretty nice to have like on a mural.
yeah,
Um but yeah, like him, he's transitioned out of being a professional snowboarder, and I got to like support him during him living his dream, and now he gets to help support me through mine. So it's pretty cool to like both have get to see each other like that and like help where we can.
that's crazy. It's so cool to
Yeah.
be able to like to do that for each other, where you both get your time to shine and your support
Yeah,
system. Because like some people are kind of
totally.
going hard at the same time. Where
At the
like,
same time,
and
right.
so y'all, you don't really have like the support from one another as much as you would like, because they're doing their thing
Yeah,
too. Or you sometimes, depending on like the couple, like there might be some competition or some like
totally.
resentment with that. But
Yeah.
it's cool that you were able to do that. Like how what is that lifestyle like, being with like a pro snowboarder? What does that mean for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, he was gone like pretty much every winter, which was hard. Um, but so cool to like see, because he was like filming in the backcountry and stuff. So he wasn't like doing contests, but he was like in the movies and magazines and stuff. So he was just kind of chasing where the snow was and like where the filmer wanted to film. But it was awesome because I mean, I got to go on a lot of these trips too. So
Mm.
that was pretty cool. And like the people I got to meet in the industry because of him and like just staying in the mix was pretty awesome. And like just yeah, the people you get to meet, like that's the best. So yeah, I feel
Snowboarding
super lucky
heroes.
to like yeah, so cool.
You were telling me you were telling me earlier how um like you and him go on like a lot of adventures. Like
Yeah.
so I mean you like went cross country like via
Yeah.
skateboard and bike, right?
Yeah, we rode a tandem bike, the two-person bike
Oh
across the
wow.
country.
That was a two
Yeah.
person bike?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I didn't even hear that
yeah.
part. That's even
Yeah.
crazier.
Yeah, so I'm just on the back. So the story, it's a very long story, but I'll shorten it as much as I can. My parents tried to move out west and this was their bike. And they, because my dad was like a triathlete and my mom's just like a recreational biker, you know? So he was like, we need a tandem bike so that my mom could come on rides with him. So anyway, they used it for a long time and then it was out here and they moved back east. And then my husband was like, what if we just rode it back to them?
Oh shoot.
Because they needed it. And we were like, we could either ship it or we could just ride it. So we rode it, but we brought our skateboards. And this was in like a transition period in our lives. Like we had moved from we lived in Portland for a little bit. So we had like time off from what we were doing. And we just put our skateboards on the back and like loaded it. And we had already been like we ride bikes, so this is not that crazy. I mean, it's still crazy, but we weren't just like off the couch doing this. Um, but we loaded it up with like our camping gear and our skateboards and rode from Washington State to New Hampshire over one summer and like went to skate parks along the way, which helped because it felt like for a little bit there we were on like a skate trip via bike, which helped motivate the long days on the bike because we were doing like 80 miles a day
Yeesh. Oh my
and
god.
sleeping in like city parks and like yeah, it was really fun, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure I would do it again.
Oh man, I think
We
that's
were
like
like
a you
through
do yeah, I think once is enough. Like, like you
yeah,
it's
good.
just like, yeah,
I
we
know
know
what
that's
that's
cool.
like. I know what it's like to bike through North Dakota. So,
Oh my god, that's crazy. And
yeah.
do you have any spots that you can remember that were like particularly interesting or particularly like amazing or beautiful? That I mean, whether it was just the nature, like maybe the moment that you
Yeah.
shared with Tim, or just any.
Yeah, I mean the coolest part was like all the people that we met cuz we're like so unthreatening. We're just on a bike. Like we're not gonna rob anybody. So like people would invite us to their homes. Like we would meet someone at a restaurant and they're like, "Where are you guys sleeping tonight?" And we're like, "I don't know, maybe in those woods over there." And they're like, "No, come. I've got like a perfect backyard. You guys can camp in. I'll make you pancakes in the morning before you leave." And like we would say yes to that. So it was a really cool reminder that a lot of people are good, and if you're not threatened, if they're not threatened by you, like, and yeah, it just was like very heartwarming, all the people that we met that like wanted to help us and like hear our story and cook us good food. So yeah, that was the coolest part.
Any of those people you still like? Did you ever get like their contact and keep up with, or?
Yeah, we did for a little bit, but this was like, oh man, this was like 8 years ago now or 9. Yeah,
Mm, mm,
haven't really
that's
like
crazy.
fully kept up with them, but
And then, how did it feel finally getting to your parents' house? Like you finally
So
made
good.
it. Like,
And they cracked champagne and they like sprayed it on us. And,
oh my
and I was
God.
like, I have to sit on the bike seat tomorrow.
Oh my God.
it, and I got a little sketchbook and I like sketched a bunch and I kept a journal and like drew everybody that we met. I like drew a little caricature of them. Um, and we were like gonna make a little book or something, but we never did, which I kind of like that was just for us too. Like it was kind of like nowadays it'd be like if you weren't making a YouTube series of that, then you're blowing it. But then it was like you can just go do stuff and not film it, which was
Doesn't have
nice.
to be, does not have to be a part of some, content
Yeah,
campaign. Like it's your life.
exactly.
Mm.
It's your life. You're just living. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like lived in we built out a camper and lived in that for like a year. I've had a lot of places that we've lived that have been like really tricky to continue to make art while I'm there,
Mm.
which I think is why I have just diversified and like, I could make a snowboard graphic totally on my iPad and we could be like in our camper in Baja surfing and I could be working. So
Mm.
I love that aspect of it. And then now I have a studio. I feel really grateful to like have a place where I can paint large scale, whatever I want. But there were a lot of years where it was just like get in where I can and make it happen. But I'm grateful for those times too to like know how nice it is now to like be able to paint whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. I know that's like it's like, dang, it took a lot to get here, but it's like, man, this is a nice
Yeah.
outlook.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, honestly, like if I could just keep doing what I'm doing now forever, I would.
Mm. Mm. And y'all, you and your husband, y'all made a book, right? It was like
Yeah, we
I don't
made
know
a
if it was a book or if
couple.
it was.
Yeah,
I
we
heard
did
of
like
this
a
thing called Pow and
cookbook.
Chow.
That was Pow and Chow. Yeah, we did a cookbook that was like all like plant-based, which we're not like totally plant-based, but it was a fundraiser for Protect Our Winters. So we're like, oh, it'd be cool to do like kind of eco-conscious, clean eating, but then also have like split board stuff in it, like we're riding powder. You gotta eat good food to stay energized. And that was just like a fundraiser for POW, Protect Our Winters. And then we did another fun little fundraiser book for them too, totally about splitboarding called the Split the Difference. And those were just like fun outlets because Tim he's done like little bit of like writing for snowboard magazines and like he's got a fun writing style. So it's whenever I get a chance for him, like if he's excited to write something, I'm all in because I love to illustrate things that
Mm.
he's written and whatever. But um, yeah, we've just always like had fun little creative outlets, like played music together, been in a couple little bands together, and like it's fun to have just creative outlets.
Yeah. And how, like, as a couple, how much did y'all have to like grow together? You know, like
I mean,
did
we
was it
have,
pretty
yeah,
natural, or did you guys find yourselves like kind of on different feet sometimes, or you know?
I mean, it's been like so seamless and amazing. And we had like really similar upbringings. I mean, we met when we were 20, so we were so young, but we were into all the same things. I mean, he's not like an artist, but um, and I think that's the only, even maybe more so now, like that I'm spending a lot more hours in the studio than like snowboarding. Um, we've just had to work our schedules out with that, but it's like really just like a scheduling thing rather than like some crazy issues or anything. We're lucky. I mean, full circle. I will talk about problems because of my growing up being communicative.
Mhm.
So that I had to teach him that I will talk, like we're not gonna, there's nothing that's gonna be unsaid.
Mm.
So I'm from like an East Coast family that likes to like give each other shit and like say what's on our mind, and
Mhm.
that's not always the easiest person to be with. He's from like California, laid back parents that didn't like dive into too much, so that was kind of like a learning thing of like how we communicate, but we've 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 hashed that out. We've ridden a tandem bike across the country. We got no stones unturned.
Yeah. Man, that's something that's definitely like a bigger thing for me too. Like my family, like I was telling you before, my family
Yeah,
we suck at communicating. Like even like big
yeah,
important things, like stuff will happen with like certain family members and like nobody knows. And and
yeah,
then we get upset at each other, but then nobody wants to say anything because they don't want to make people upset and it's a whole mess. And I think that was something that like I definitely had to learn uh as I got with my current partner because like she's
yeah,
one that is very much gonna talk about it, and she's not gonna you know, she doesn't let a lot of things just roll off. And so it really taught me to like, okay, I have to learn how to
yeah.
speak, how to
And now look
communicate.
at you, you got a podcast.
Yep, yep, yep. And it's
You
funny.
talking?
It's part of that like it was like I got put on to communication like,
Yeah,
oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then you kind
totally.
of go
You're
like,
like, it's
okay.
not the easiest thing, but it's like I like it better than having things go unsaid. I don't want regrets. I don't want things unsaid. And it's not always easy. It might be easier sometimes to just like put it off, but then in the long run, talking about it, I think, is better.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that from the perspective of somebody who struggled to communicate is like it's not that like it's not that you don't want to communicate it. It's like I think at least in my perspective it was like you were made to feel weird for wanting to say it, or
Right.
like
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
try to say something and then somebody goes off cuz like why would you say that? And you're like, "Well, dang, I thought thought that's what it was," or like it was kind of bothering me. I thought I'd talk about it. And you kind of just
Yeah, that's
learn that
hard.
it's not. But it's
Yeah.
a weird thing to kind of zig instead of zag on.
And then now that you are like more comfortable talking, do you like try to talk with your family more than, or do you kind of just fall back into not saying anything when you're with them?
No, it actually has turned like the other way. Like, I'm able to speak more with my parents, and I think it's a mix of like better in communication skills as well as they see me as an adult now instead of like
True.
their kid, and so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
have a little bit more respect for me and like what I'm doing, and so they're like,
That's
okay, like
cool.
we'll listen now. Before it
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
snot nosed kid, but it's like okay, like
Right,
do your
right.
thing now. So
That's cool.
yeah, it feels kind of like perfect timing because it wasn't like uh, I don't know, I kind of just learned not to, and then now that I'm learning, it's like they're being receptive of it,
Yeah,
surprisingly
opening
too.
some new doors. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like as you
Love
get
that.
older, you kind of learn the family lore. Yeah, I feel like everybody goes through this to kind of
Totally.
learn like, oh, such and
Yeah.
such did this, and that's why they don't
Yeah.
talk no more. And it's
Yeah,
funny to
yeah.
kind of like address these topics, and they're actually
Totally.
receptive to it. It made my parents feel more like humans instead of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
parents, like this big grand figure. It's like, oh, you're just
Yeah.
just a guy. You're just
Totally. You're just winging it. I thought you had it together, but you're just winging it. Yeah.
yeah. And so it's cool.
That's cool. Are they in the area? Are they in Atlanta?
Yeah, my mom is she's actually like within the perimeter, and
Oh,
my
nice.
dad's like a little bit south of that. But yeah.
Cool. So you get
Yeah,
to see
so
them.
mhm. And
Nice.
yeah, and then my dad comes over here a lot too, so I get to see them pretty
Nice.
often, which is cool.
Cool.
Mhm. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
it
mine are
man.
all still on the East Coast, so I don't get
Oh
to see
man.
him enough. And now I have a really cute little nephew that I'm just like want to see all the time. But I get out there as much as I can, but
Mm.
lots of FaceTime.
Are they are they old enough to like draw and paint yet?
He turns 3 like in 5 days, but every time
Mm-hmm.
I've been drawing with him, like I try to get him to draw every time I go, and then I'll like leave like a little coloring book page for him. Like I'll just draw like a little flash sheet of characters, and then have my sister take a photo of him when he colors it in. But um, yeah, it's so fun to see him draw, and like to see him light up, like if we're on FaceTime and I'll pull one of these paintings down that I'm working on, and to see him be like, frog
Mm.
or something, I'm like, that's what it's all about. Like if I can just like make a kid light up, like I did my job.
Yeah. And childlike imagination is like top tier.
It's the
That's good stuff.
best. Yeah, it's the best. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
And I
that
love,
random
like, I try
perspective.
to keep that, keep that ethos. Like, I'm not over here just like fully rendering some scene. I just want to like convey these ideas through like fun shapes and colors and like playful. Doesn't have to be rocket science. I don't have to be like doing anything crazy. Just keep it simple and fun and approachable. And there's enough, I mean, there's every kind of art, which is amazing, but I like to just keep it fun.
Like stay in the course. It's like you're in that tunnel. You're like staying in there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mm, cool. And in terms of like the you spoke a lot about wanting to do this. Like if you'd be happy if you were able to do this forever.
Yeah.
But are there any things that like you haven't done yet that you like wanted to do? Are there things that you still kind of shoot for, you know?
Yeah, definitely more large scale murals. I love just like no barrier to entry. Anyone can see it. Like I love the community aspect. I've been doing some like paint by numbers community murals where like kids can fill in the colors and I'll just come back and clean it up with like tight lines. I love doing that. Um, so yeah, like as many murals as I can do, trying to do them. I've also had like a long time dream of illustrating a children's book, and this has been since like I've had 3 opportunities in my life to illustrate one. Starting in 6th grade, I got asked to illustrate a children's book, and then the guy ghosted me.
Close
It
to
was like
sixth
my
grader.
teacher. Yeah, it was like
Hey.
my teacher connected it, and I even like started doing the first sketches, and then she never even heard from him again. So that was funny. And then I have had 2 others fall through. So any children's book authors out there, it's got to be like the right book, but I know that there's something out there because it just sounds so fun. I've always wanted to do that. Um, yeah, that's like definitely on the bucket list.
I feel like we've been all over the place. Are there any
Yeah,
things that you've
we've
like
been.
that we've missed?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
Hmm. Okay, I have one more question I have to say.
All right.
Are you aware of Kobe Bryant's Goat Mountain?
No, I don't
So
think so.
Kobe Bryant does like I think he coined the term. I don't know, but
Like the
he
greatest of all time?
right, like the Goat Mountain, and
Okay.
it's
That kind
essentially
of
like
goat.
yeah. So he's like sometimes he says sometimes I have to go to Goat Mountain and discuss
Okay.
with the legends who share my obsession
Mm,
with the game, and
okay.
it's essentially like this. It I mean, for him, he was skilled enough to where the top people were his peers as well. And so
Right.
he was kind of seeing these people not only as inspiration but like counsel, right? And I'm curious to know if you have either like a goat mountain of like people maybe you've never met, or people who have inspired you from like childhood that you kind of look to for inspiration, or if you have like a more of like a peripheral kind of council of people that you feel are just like really killing it, that you really go to for inspiration or for like, just help with decisions or anything like that. Just people you look up to, people who've like made a big impact on you.
I'll go goat mountain of people that have had long time impacts that I've never met before. Um, First on Goat Mountain would be Jim Phillips. He was like original Santa Cruz skateboards artist. He did like the Screaming Hand. Have you seen the Screaming Hand? Yeah.
The joint
And
like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So
Mm.
forever, like he was one of the first that I was just like, oh, really sick art is on skateboards. What's this? Like, and just to have such a recognizable style, his line work, like it's so sick. And like his cast of characters, you could recognize a mile away. And now he has like his son Jimbo and then his grandson are both like making his art basically still, like they're carrying on this like family legacy of his art, which is so cool. So that, just to see like that from an early age of like really cool art on skateboards that has then turned into like this iconic artist in the world starting in skateboarding is really cool. And then kind of in that like little bit later era was Margaret Kilgallen, and she was like very pioneering female artist in the like street art graffiti scene, skate stuff, and she had these like really powerful female characters that were like very illustrative and cool. She like did it in a cool way. She passed away from cancer when she was like pretty young, like 35 or something. But if you haven't seen that, The Beautiful Losers is a documentary. She's in that with like Barry McGee and those guys. It's really cool. But she's like a very inspirational female, like just badass artist. Um, those are like two main goats. Also like Mark Gonzalez as like a skateboarder, weirdo artist, cool human that has made like all of his own graphics, and then like in turn his style has, like, he does crooked skateboards. His art's insane. And just like has built just a life of being creative and funny and himself, which is super inspiring. Yeah, those are Goat Mountain.
Some goats, man.
Yeah.
Mm, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of like cool pioneer like snowboard artists too, like yeah, like Jamie Lynn, and yeah, some cool. It's just cool to see like art on these boards that also like translate so well to like the gallery world and have like made names for themselves in that world is pretty cool, because making that transition is pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a lot of, I mean, like the friends I've made through ABV, like I stay in touch with all you guys, like mural festival people, like try to stay in touch and check in, and like wish we were all in the same place. It would be a lot easier if I could just be like, "Hey Cam, will you come look at this painting I'm working on?" Like I can't figure out what. I feel like it's missing something, like that would be so nice.
But I am always available on the platforms. Just
One
reach
call
out.
away.
I'm a call away, so just let me
I
know, and
love it.
be a second set of
I'll
eyes.
hit you up.
Hmm. Speaking of that, I've been peeping this little frog piece behind you.
Yeah, what do you see
I
in
think you
this
call
guy?
it
Wait, look.
no, yeah, that one, that one is
I'm
that one is
mirrored.
fire. I thought
Thank you.
because I was gonna because I I saw that one. That was a part of your solo show, wasn't it?
I painted two of them. This one's actually a little different than the solo show one. I didn't put this one in.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Huh.
we're
That one is
stacking.
like that
We're
one is like
stacking.
I remember seeing it on the website and I was like it's sold out. I was like,
Yeah, it was the
and
first one
then
that sold, and it was the last one I painted. Because I painted this one, actually, this one, I painted this one before I painted the one for the show, but this one's on panel and everything in the show was on canvas. So I was like, ooh, I really like this, but I kind of want to change a couple of things and I'll do it on canvas. And it was the last piece I painted for the show,
mm, yeah,
which is
that
cool to like see that because I've been painting for like 6 months for the show. And then I kept like doing another one that I was like, oh, now I want the whole show to be like these or whatever. So, uh, yeah, it's funny. It was funny experience to paint for so long for one thing. And obviously, like, I wasn't in the studio every day for 6 months doing it, but it was over the course of that. And there was so many, I have so many pieces that I didn't put in the show because I kept being like, ooh, this, now I want to do more like this.
and if you have any extras that you're willing to sell, I would like to see. I want to see what you have if you have
All
any
right.
for sale.
We'll do a call and I'll show you all the stuff I got.
Yeah. Yes, please do. And
Cool.
I have so um I started up a crew about a year ago called the House of Daydreamers, and we have a show uh coming up like early next year, probably like March or April. And
Sick.
I also have a solo show in August next year.
What?
And I'm trying to figure out how to best prepare for it. And
Yeah.
being that you're on the other end, of a solo show, is there any what advice would you have for somebody in my position right now?
I just advise you to start painting and like paint as much as you can. I don't know, do you ever you paint on canvas for it? Will
Mm-hmm.
you? I just bought like rolls of primed canvas so that I
Oh
wouldn't feel
yeah.
bad just like ripping through pieces, Like I just didn't want like too much weight on them at first because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, all right, I just want to like see what I'm vibing on and like what kind of story I want to tell or like what I want this thing to feel like as a whole. So yeah, my thing was just like cut like a 18 by 24, put it on the wall, paint it, like go to the next one, and then I was able to like filter through so many without like having too much weight on them because like I was saying, like, I'd paint one and then be like, ooh, now I want to do something kind of like that, but a little different. And
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't give myself enough time or I had like expensive canvases that I didn't want to paint over or whatever, like then I might have put too much weight on them and been like, well, no, I don't, now I have to do them like this because that's what this one is. Um, so yeah, that was really helpful and fun. It just made it like less daunting at the beginning, I think. And I ended up keeping a lot of the early ones too and just buying stretcher bars and wrapping them. But yeah, finding like giving yourself that space to like explore at first, like what you want it to look like as a whole.
And what about in terms of the types of pieces? Um, like were you making like I know that you had some that were like bigger, some that were smaller.
Yeah,
But was
yeah.
there any intention behind those differentiations, or were you just kind of like experimenting, or
Yeah, I was thinking about like, you know, my friends in Seattle that would be coming. Like, I wanted to have pieces that someone could just walk in and be like, "Oh, I can afford that," and take that home. Like I wanted a little something for everybody. Um, and it is such a weird time for selling paintings, so I also didn't want to like put too much weight on being like, if I don't sell out, then I failed at this, because selling out doesn't seem to be like super realistic right now anyway. Like, um, I'm really happy with how it all ended up, but like, I think like a few years ago, the goal would be to just sell out your show, right? Like, but what I was noticing was that was looking harder and harder to do. So I just wanted to have like a variation of prices and sizes for different types of people. Um, I think that's important. And I didn't do any prints because I just did those small, I did like 9 small pieces. So I was like, this feels like a special time for you to be able to like walk in and look at my art and then take an original home instead of a print. So that was kind of my mindset on not doing prints for this. But yeah, and then I had like looked at the space and like thought about how many pieces, like, and I had a range of like 15 to 22 pieces, and I ended up bringing 19. Um, yeah. Do you know how many pieces you're gonna try to shoot for?
I mean, so I kind of want to do something a little different. Like
Yeah.
they said that I could make they said that I could make I think up to 30 pieces or something like that.
Nice.
And they also have like a wall on the side that I could paint. But then
Cool.
like I've been getting into I've been getting into game development a lot recently.
Yeah.
And like I kind of want to make a little game, like a little arcade machine. I kind of want to make one of those.
What?
And like cuz I got a friend that can like make the machine itself, and I would just have to like
What?
put a
You
monitor
have
in
to.
there. Yeah, I'm like, man, I kind of
Yeah.
want to do that. And like, and then if I could just use, I mean, I could just use like the key art from the game, or like that could be a
Right?
piece. Like
Yeah.
if I paint that as the original, or
Oh
if I
my
make
God.
like concept art for the characters, or I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many different directions it could go. But um, I think there's a part of me that's like, I was in a lot of group shows and stuff this past year, and I'm not I'm not over painting like canvases and panels and
Yeah.
stuff. I still enjoy it, but I'm just kind of like wanting to switch it up a little bit. I'm like, I think about that process and I'm
Fair.
like, do I really want to do that 30 times? No. No, I kind of want to
Totally.
do, cuz I feel like you said, you want stuff that people can kind of just get um and like enjoy. And I feel like, I mean, artwork is always cool because you get to just hang it in the space to decorate your home, but I want something that people can interact with a little bit better.
Yeah.
Something that
If I
people
could
can like
make a
take
game,
home.
I'd make a game. That sounds so sick.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Like it's been a new thing, so I'm not
Yeah.
like making Call of Duty or anything, but it's like simple games, little mini games and stuff like that. That's been fun.
Yeah, I love it.
But I think I can put enough of like a visual charm on it to where like even if it's simple, I can kind of like
Yeah.
entertain just like with visuals or whatever. So
I mean, that's such a great idea. Like if you could just go into someone's solo show, but you get to like play their painting, even if it's so simple,
hmm
it would be really cool.
yeah, so that's
Where is it?
it's so the solo show will be at Mabel House Gallery. It's out
Okay.
west, like way out. Like if Atlanta, you see like the little circle of Atlanta. It's
Yeah.
about, I'd say about 20 minutes out of the circle
Okay.
going west. So, and then the House of Daydreamers show is at this distillery. It's the Distillery of Modern Art. That's like
Oh,
in the
cool.
city. hmm
Nice.
So should
Awesome.
be cool. Should be cool. I'm excited for it. But
I'm
I'm
excited to
not
see.
yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff put together so far, but I think I'm
You'll
gonna have
get
to
it.
kick that into gear like towards the
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah.
So should be cool.
That's a good timing. Because you don't want
Mhm.
like too much time to just dwell on it either. I think there's a sweet spot for sure.
hmm So yeah, I want to take advantage of the time because I know how it can be. Like I know the stress just getting one piece ready. You'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like I got this thing I
Yeah.
said yes to. I gotta
I know.
gotta make
I
something
know.
in a week. So
I
yeah.
know.
Mm.
It's a
especially
blessing
with
and a
that.
curse.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I want to just take advantage of it so I'm not kicking myself, in a
Yeah,
couple months.
for
But
sure.
hmm. But um man, um hmm. I think we pretty much gotten through a lot of the questions that I had for you. And like,
Cool.
man, it's been such a good conversation. Like
I
I,
know,
I've
it's been
really enjoyed
fun.
this.
Me too.
And there's
Just chatting.
yeah, like that's how I want it to feel. It's a podcast, but I'd like for it to just feel like almost like a phone call, it's not
Yeah,
too like I don't know, like established, in that way
right.
of like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be this itinerary and you got to hit this topic. Nah, I'm just letting it flow. Um,
Love it.
but we have a closing tradition on the
Okay,
podcast, and it's essentially the name of the podcast is Vertex. It serves as a connection point, and I'm wanting to extend the opportunity for you to connect to any person, place, or thing in the world, and I'm hoping that as the platform grows and as viewers see these things, they can start to kind of bridge connections. Whether it's like a dream client and somebody that views it as somebody that works for that company, or if you have like, a long lost cousin that you never got reconnected with, and somebody is like that person's coworker or whatever. My hope is that as the platform grows, we can kind of make more connections over time. So, want to give you that space to shoot out a connection.
cool. Love it. Let's see. We talked about me wanting to do a illustrated children's book, so let's just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Children's book authors, publishing companies. I think it's like a interesting world where like a lot of publishing companies like have their own like illustrators that they only work with. So
Mm-hmm.
this could be a long shot. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would love to do it with like an established someone who's like published
Mm-hmm.
books before. So I don't get ghosted like in sixth grade again.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're not gonna ghost me and you want to make a cool children's book and you like my art, that's it.
Mm. Okay. Cool. That's it's a perfect shout out.
Perfect.
Um,
Love it.
yeah. Well, yeah, just want to say thank you once again. This conversation has been so eye-opening and inspiring in so many ways. It's I mean, even I think something that was particularly inspiring for me was the just knowing that you are wanting to make um like artwork that can be seen as light or heavy at the same time, because I feel that way sometimes, like as I'm kind of going into communication, not only can I speak to other people better, but I can speak to myself better. And so sometimes I'm finding myself in days where I just get in my feels and I'm just in my head and in my mind all the time. And but sometimes I don't want to be there. And so being able to have artwork that can kind of travel the different dimensions, I think are very, it's very important for me. And as well as hearing about you and Tim's relationship and y'all's story, I think is really nice because it's very it inspires me to like see how I can build a life with my partner as well, and like how we can kind of make both of our dreams come true. So thank you for all the
Amazing.
knowledge.
Of course, Cam. I appreciate it. It's been so nice to catch up. It's been too long.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get
I
you out here snowboarding. It'll be great.
man, I'm so ready for that. Like I
Let's
am
do it.
so ready. Um
We got all
man.
sorts of gear. We got boards. We could hook you up.
Hmm.
We'll make it happen.
Okay. Got to plan that West Coast trip then. Definitely
Yeah.
going out
Yeah.
there. Cool. Well, okay. Well, I think we're good here. Is there any last things you'd like to say or any last questions you'd like to ask?
I think we rambled our way right around. We hit it all.
Cool. Oh, cool. Well, I guess that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Cool, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for doing what you're
Absolutely.
doing. I love that you're connecting people and you're doing it for all the right reasons. So you're
Man,
inspiring me too.
man, thank you. Thank you. It's an
Yeah.
honor. Oh, cool. Well, I'll catch you later and good luck with
All right.
everything. And I am definitely gonna
Thank
hit
you.
you
Yeah.
up about them pieces too. I wasn't playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit me up whenever. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. I'll
All right.
catch you later. All
Okay.
right.
Thanks, Cam.
See ya.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching the episode. One of my favorite things about doing this podcast is hearing about when someone resonates with something we said. It's truly the reason I continue to make these happen. Comment down below what stuck with you, and we can continue the discussion further. Also consider liking and subscribing. It helps me bring in more amazing creatives and helps me make this show better for you all every episode. Catch y'all next week.